Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, if you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program. You can always email the show if you like. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And if you want, watch us on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. And a fine Balls McWednesday to you and yours. We could use some uplifting news, right? We could all just use some good news. There isn't any.
I was actually looking at you saying, all right, you've got something in store that we didn't talk about.
No, nothing. No good news.
Oh.
Yeah, we're forced to confront the stark reality of our situation again today. There's nope, didn't have any magic formula for you. Can't sprinkle fairy dust on this thing and make it all right. Just more misery. That's what you got.
I did have some laughs this morning because I'll tell you, as I was flipping around, I had Le Batard on the TV as I'm doing some side work. The studio's in use. And the firm is on. So I'm like, I wonder what part it's on.
Was it our part?
And wouldn't you know?
Ah, my favorite.
Wilfred's right there at the trunk of the car, standing right next to my man, Tom Cruise.
Devastating. Yeah, he...
Devastating.
There it is. It's a good scene.
Not just screwing, Mitch.
Well, it's uncomfortable. They do a good job with the music in that scene, too, because it just builds and builds and builds because they're correctly representing his insides. Tom Cruise's panic is building through the piano, and you try to go into his mindset. Like, what would I do? And when that feeling of there's nothing you can do.
Devastating.
You've been had. Like, they got you.
How do you know you weren't followed?
Oh, that the second it's said, you go, oh. And the problem with that is you're guilty. So you're not guilty of the greater transgression, but they've got you, and you know it, so you can't do anything. That's the problem with cheating. You're guilty. They got you. There's nowhere to go, buddy. You got to wear that.
So if the FBI so much as spits in your general direction, you'll give us a call. Won't you, Mitch?
Oh, and that's brilliantly played because it's also condescending too. There's just it's him. It's him knowing he has the upper hand, but making you aware of his knowledge of your inner turmoil and your helplessness. Just get you some of that. You've lost. There's nothing you can do. I got you.
Then when he said sharper image catalog, I thought, maybe that's the kind of reading I need right now, because every time I read about Florida State, I think, oh, boy.
Well, I do think it's funny. I was talking with Tom Block today, and, everybody who covers, and by the way, Front Row Knowles will be on tonight when this show ends at 6, and those guys do a great job, and I look forward to hearing the show, and Tim Linefeld coming on there as well. But one of the things that happens at a time like this, whether it's going really good or it's going bad, like one of the questions yesterday was, as a media member, whether you're you're a writer, a beat writer, or if you're, in this case, me, a talk show host, but central theme and cover this team, year round. Is it easier to do so when they are struggling and there's controversy and there's a lot of question marks about what's going to happen next or what needs to happen next, and everybody's got an opinion about that? Is it easier because we all know, that negativity really sells. And, certainly when you look at the internet, my goodness, it's just filled with mostly nonstop negativity because people are drawn to it, whether that's violence or stories about politics, whatever it might be. Or is it easier to do when everybody's buoyed by the great success stories and winning football games, and there's a build to a crescendo to where you think, there's a chance this team could win the whole thing? And I think it's easier, actually, believe it or not, when they're winning. It gets harder in this situation because there's only so many ways to dissect their problems. I mean, when you put out on the table all the things that it could be, and all of the things that you think are wrong or, are partly responsible for a 1-3 record, everybody's got a thought on that. whether it's your thought that it's a certain coach or coordinator or players or the scenario that was dealt to Florida State with the hurricane and the quarterback getting hurt in the first game. But everybody's got a thought on that, and you can go ahead and go through case by case and say, well, certainly it didn't help this team that the ULM game was canceled and their freshman quarterback never got an opportunity to play. The fact that they had to start a freshman quarterback to begin with has certainly hampered the offense some. There's no getting around that. The fact that they moved the Miami game and, your first game ended up being NC State 23 days after the fact, and it's a very good defensive line. It's all this stuff, right? And then you can get into Charles Kelly or Rick Trickett or whomever else you're mad at, Jimbo Fisher, whatever you want to say, that's fine. But once you've done all of that, then it becomes beating a dead horse. There's no more until you can get something else that changes the narrative, such as a player gets better, appreciably better. You're able to see that, wow, you know what? From that week to this week, this kid has come a long way. Let's talk about what that means for the depth chart moving forward, for recruiting, and for the rest of the year. Or they get worse, God forbid. And then you really start to get into dire circumstances where you talk about cleaning house and all kinds of things like that. And controversies then really arise. Like, what's the threshold? What's the breaking point? But when you're winning, when you're doing what the 2013 team did, which was to not just win games and reveal that the redshirt freshman quarterback not only was good enough, but might be the reason that you're winning every week, in addition to a lot of other factors I know. But when we came off the field after that Pitt game on the road, where I went up there and you were with Bill and others at the bar watching that game together going, well, my goodness gracious, what do we have here? He's not only as advertised, he might be better. With each passing week, it became about, all right, so what are we watching? Are we watching the ACC champion and really nothing more? Are we watching the ACC champion that has a real good shot to end the SEC's reign and become national champion? Where are we in that scope? Pretty quickly, by week 4 or 5, we all knew, you know what? Knock on wood, nobody gets hurt. Let's tweak some things here. Seek and destroy. And every week became about the platitudes. Can you believe that they scored 35 points in the first quarter of their game against NC State? Can you believe the way Maryland folded and the hits on the quarterback? Can you believe the way that this young player is emerging now as a superstar? He could be a first-round draft pick. All this stuff. That was fun. There's a positive flow to that, and it didn't get old. It gets old to talk about negative things. That's why it's harder, I think.
Well, I think this show there's a blend of being passionate and analytical. I think we go back and forth. But passion is the thing that drives it. I mean, you're not a monotone guy. That's not your style. And as the producer and or listener of the show for more than 10 years now, you're not the guy who looks at the numbers and says, well, here's how it is.
Yeah. Well, guys.
Right.
On 2nd and 6, we're really struggling.
So it gets more difficult when you're in this position. I'm not saying your passion is completely gone, but you have to put a lot of the things you're passionate about, such as new blood on the sidelines next year, on hold. Well, you can't do it now.
No, you can't do it now. And I continue back to what I was saying with Tom Block. We were talking about some of the things that we see, and he was telling me what he sees and and we were going kind of back and forth. We were also joking around a little bit because obviously now you're just besieged by people wanting to come up and say, well, what about this and what about that? And I get it. You have to almost act as a conduit, right? Like, people come to you and say, well, what's going on over there? They're desperate to hear. My voice needs to be heard. I'm growing very, very concerned here. And that cracks me up. You want to hug them. You want to go, I think they know. I think they know you're pretty pissed. But you know when they're going to know, and what will be the next story? When there's nobody here. And that is going to be a problem, because I think already, if you went by the booster lots before the Miami game, you have problems. And that speaks louder than anybody's opinion about personnel or scenarios that were out of their control or coaches or anything else. The dollars, the people that aren't here, the folks that don't come, the conversation that shifts away from, are we going to win a national championship, to, you think we'll get 60,000 people at the game this week? I mean, those are very different conversations to have.
And those are the kinds that, yes, absolutely, they cringe over there in the athletic department, and they should, because there's a sales staff, there's a lot of people in the athletic department that are trying to make the most of whatever we have. And for the last, little while, we've had a lot, whether it be a great home slate and a pretty good team to a team in the midst of winning 29 straight and a national title, there's been a lot to get behind. I'm here to say that there still is something to get behind, and his name's James Blackman. And there's another guy, his name's Cam Akers. And there are other pieces, Marvin Wilson. There are a lot of pieces that I'm interested to see. But you don't go into that game with blood on the mind, the same way that you said, seek and destroy.
Right.
I'm not walking into, either my living room or actually I'll be in Miami this weekend. So
how about that?
Yeah, for the first time, there it is on Miami Beach. I'm getting right down there.
Well, but you're not there long enough, man.
Pop in and out. No, just there for a wedding. But when I'm at the seaside bar or whatever, and I'm watching the game with Duke, I'm not walking in saying seek and destroy. I'm thinking, all right, everybody get together now. Let's handle our business. Let's do what we're supposed to do. And if that means we win by 10, then let's win by 10 here. Baby steps.
I get to when you alter your mindset for what's possible, what's realistic, it becomes a weird exercise in watching these games because you talk about I'm not monotone, but you watch sports in that way when your team is not as good as you had hoped they'd be or they're not achieving the goals you thought they could. You end up kind of just, all right, well, that's off the table. Let's watch carefully to see if we can achieve some of these other things here in the interim, but those aren't things that are going to ignite passion. They're just going to be methodical. They're going to be, yes, as you noted, analytical. They're going to be situations, and those things don't ever excite anybody.
Okay, so a baseball fan, of a team that's middling, or maybe they get a wild card berth, but you've got that young prospect that you want to see pitch, and here he comes up. And it's his first start, everything, it's all great. Man, if he gives up 4 runs or if he gives up 1 run, the thing I want to see is, does he have swing and miss stuff? Is he tough in moments of adversity, which he's surely going to face today? It's the little things. I'm looking. It's like watching. This is really actually quite sad. It's like watching a spring game, and you're saying to yourself, "I'm serious now." It's like watching a spring game and saying, "All right, well, I like what we can do there." Now that can translate to the greater conversation. These games count. That's the difference between this one and the spring game. But I'm going to watch this thing more like it's the spring game than I would say Florida State and Clemson in 2013. It's not going to be there. I'm not going to live and die on every play. I'm just putting hash marks next to good or bad after every single play in my mind as this game rolls along. This Saturday against Louisville, probably every game the rest of the way.
It'll be interesting, though, because the eternal optimist in me, and I don't know that I would actually classify myself as that. I do see the stark reality probably too frequently, and I have to shake myself and get back to the realm of positive. Still holds out hope, though, even if I stop just short of being the eternal optimist, still holds out hope that there are meaningful moments left to be played out this year that don't involve the analysis of young players. What I mean by that is, if you beat Duke, and we take these baby steps as if we're shuffling, okay? You win the game against Duke and you get another win under your belt and you're 2-3 and you're not where you want to be and you're still frustrated, but it's nice having conversations on a Monday coming off of a win as opposed to a loss, right? And so maybe some things shine in that moment that you can hang your hat on. There's still some other things that emerge that bother you that you can also point out. The analysis of a game. But then it's Louisville. And what happened to Florida State a year ago against Louisville is not lost on anybody. It was humiliating. And there were some things that happened in that game that went above and beyond losing a football game. There was a challenge of manhood on the field in which Louisville's offensive line of all segment groups, which was but sorry all year long, challenged your defensive huddle, walked up and talked smack to you to the point where a coach and his pride, his Seminole pride, rose to the occasion if the players wouldn't, and he had to separate and push them away in Odell Haggins. They taunted in a way that was hard to stomach, and I get it. You don't want that to happen, then don't get beat. But above and beyond what you deem to be reasonable, thus we pegged that game as a bloodlust game. That doesn't go away because I do think this defense, while lacking in so many areas, is good enough to get stops and give you a chance to win that football game. And I very much want to win that football game. I'd like to exact a measure of revenge there. So there are these kind of landmarks throughout the remaining schedule, and all you're really trying to do brick by brick is build something that is somewhat stable before you go on the road on the 11th to face Clemson in November, because that's the one where you say, all right, I'll mark an L next to it, but can we put something together that gives us a fighting chance to make it interesting, to put fear
I think they can. I mean,
I think they can,
the
too.
talent's here to do it, and that's the hard part. It's like, all right, I'm mad. Do not get me wrong, but the changes are coming. There's no way. If they don't make changes, then you want to hear about shout at the microphone radio? If we get to December or January and this staff is intact, but there's no way that's going to happen.
Well, you and I disagree on this. It's a fun talking point. I'm not saying they're not going to make changes. I'm not saying Jimbo doesn't make changes. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I'd be surprised if he didn't, because here's the thing. Bottom line, it doesn't matter how much you like somebody, how much you love somebody when you're talking about business, right? Jimbo isn't blind. When you're friends with Nick Saban and you talk to him frequently and you see the measure of success and excellence that he holds on high, and you aspire to be that, you can't then look at what was our record a year ago in the ACC?
5-3, I guess.
Yeah, something terrible, right? Yeah. Okay, so 5-3. You're also ran in your own division, third in your own division. And then this year happens. There is no way to argue that you are not living up to a standard of excellence. You're not, period. End of discussion. It's not happening. And you would then have to ask yourself, why? And even if you disagreed vehemently with the people that are at the gates rattling the chains, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you know more than they know and you disagree with them and think that they're wrong about this, and this. The results aren't there, period, if that's your standard, the excellence standard, right? You then have to figure out why. You're not going to fire yourself, and you can't get rid of the players. So you're going to have to fire somebody, period. And so, yes, I think at the end of the day, you're right. Even then, he would have to look, as much as he would hate to do it, he'd have to make changes. But to sit here now and say that what if they get hot and win, and I know it sounds absurd, but what if they string together a bunch of wins? What, dare I say, best case scenario, what happens if they win the remainder of their games? Mm-hmm. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Let's say it happens. It's not likely. I won't predict that it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But let's just say it happens. Would he make changes? That I'm not so sure about.
If the 5 or 10% chance actually pans out, you have to, because they failed you last year too.
Yes. You're not arguing with me. I'm telling you that that's the area where we disagree about whether it's a foregone conclusion or not. If they win out, I wonder if he wouldn't reconsider. Because what happens week to week to week when you win games is it shifts the narrative. It changes feelings. So all of a sudden, just like last year, when they win the Orange Bowl and win 7 out of 8 games and play great in the one they lost against Clemson and get screwed by an official on a terrible call, you go, well, boy, the beginning of this year was terrible, and actually that loss is historically embarrassing, but golly, they did win 7 out of 8, probably should have won 8 in a row, and maybe they figured it all out. I don't know. Maybe they don't need to make changes. Like, you begin to convince yourself of these things.
Well, that's the claim about if Derwin James were healthy,
Right, all that stuff
what would the record have been?
Right.
But I'm here to tell you that, and I said it a couple weeks ago after the NC State loss. If they won the remainder of their games, you can't forget about September, because that's the process. We're talking about process here, are we not? Not the results. The results could have been different if Francois was healthy. Absolutely, I hear you. And let's say that we don't give up the game-winning touchdown to Miami, and we're sitting at 2-2 right now. Well, let's just say we didn't. I mean, the way that game was played, let's say we get a stop at the end right there. Is everything fundamentally different, or are we still saying, boy, oh boy, you gave up 230 yards and 17 points in the second half after? I mean, the problems would still be there.
Well, the other thing is your one win is a narrow escape against Wake Forest.
Exactly.
You could very well be 0-4.
That's process as well. I mean, that's a W, correct? But it's about the process, and the process isn't working. So to me, I feel like even if they ran the table and they were really good, I mean, winning 10, 17 points a week, you can't be playing in this position where the playoffs are out of the question.
Every year you're out of the contention before you get to mid-October.
At some point, the expectations have to be NFL level.
Well, no, the expectations at Florida State with top 5 recruiting classes every year are that you compete for national championships. That's a legitimate. Now, you don't have to win one every year. A reasonable fan understands you're not going to win one every year. And you may not make the playoffs every year. Every 3 to 4 years, you ought to be right there with a shot to do it at a place like this.
Right.
Sure.
And by the NFL,
meaning the playoffs.
By NFL expectations, I mean, yes, an ACC title and a berth in the playoffs.
Yeah. You don't want to cede that to Clemson.
Right. and you haven't sniffed it.
Right, and Clemson's rolling Big River. So
Correct.
that doesn't help matters at all. Right. And so, no. I don't think it's unreasonable expectations to say that you got to do infinitely better than you're currently doing. There's no doubt about that, and that even if you win the remainder of these games, you still have fallen woefully short of these annual expectations.
And can I say, in a sense, not overall, but in a sense, I'm glad Clemson's rolling, because if Clemson wasn't,
and hold your feet to the fire.
Well, yeah, because then you're Florida in the SEC East last few
years. You keep
years.
winning a division that sucks.
The ACC Atlantic champions.
You get to the championship game every year. My goodness.
Plainly not good enough. But what can you do for 2 months except watch the players on the field?
You know what you don't want to have happen, because it just feels like the biggest loser bowl ever, is if that matchup with Tennessee happens. Oh, the jokes write themselves, right? Have you seen that? All those projections that play Tennessee as it stands now? Man, the jokes that fly, and rightfully so, they would just be stinging. It would be, because unfortunately, and it was a poor time and choice, Coach Fisher dropped down with the congratulations to Florida State for playing a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's not lingering well.
After a loss at home to Miami, in which you blow the lead in the waning seconds. Yeah, that didn't play well at the time. It hasn't aged well over the last few days. It gives me a feeling that it's going to be around at the end of the year, that it's going to be brought back up when we assess what the season was. That one goes down on your permanent record.
Well, either way, the season's a failure where we sit right now, no matter what they do the rest of the way. Is it not? We have expectations here, and we're not meeting them. I don't care they win the rest of their games. It's a failure. ACC Champions playoff this year, if not last, then this year.
Well,
no matter what, it's a failure with a silver lining. It's a failure with a silver lining, or it's an abject disaster.
Yeah, I just believe there'll be plenty of people that'll tell you if they win the remainder of their games, you're going to hear from that group, well, goodness gracious, they lost to 3 really good teams with very good defenses, and they had to play those games, all but one of them, with a true freshman quarterback. You had the effects of the hurricane and the delay. Tom, once they got their feet underneath them and the young quarterback began to play with confidence and they righted the ship defensively and they won all their remaining games, there's enough there to say that it wasn't an unmitigated disaster. That's what you're going to hear. Right. I'm not saying I believe that.
They'd be wrong. It's a failure either way.
Yeah, but that's what you're going to hear. It's what you heard at the end of last year, too.
That's why that's why you can't argue it this year. It's context matters here.
Well, it also matters, and this is where, this is the longest opening segment of all time. We'll come back and do more of this in a moment. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Do you like video games, live music, dancing, and having fun with your friends? Swing by the new Fire Betty's, located in Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue. Not only can you quench your thirst, but now Fire Betty's offers a new fun food menu as well. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. There's something fun going on every night. From trivia on Wednesdays to live music on Fridays, hospitality nights on Thursdays, and unique music video DJ Saturdays. Come take a trip down memory lane and make some new ones too. Happy hour at Fire Betty's is Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. And don't forget about Sunday Fun Day with the NFL Red Zone, liquid brunch and drink specials all day, starting at 3 p.m. For catering or private parties, message Fire Betty's on Facebook.
Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep. Easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E+ from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Banditos Burritos, my friend?
Fire up the grills for another season of Seminole football.
2nd and 3, patient, then explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
It's Tallahassee Game Day, your ESPN Tallahassee pregame show, featuring Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Noles defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit mmtcfl.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So it occurred to me last night, forlorn as we are, that, hey, you know, if ever we could use the country could use a unifying force as a temporary distraction from the controversies and sadness we feel in the events of today. Thank God we got that soccer team that's going to pull through and get us to the World Cup tonight. I think I joined the rest of this country in turning off my TV in grave disappointment last night. Just, well, I guess that's not going to work either. Maybe it's indeed fitting that they fell apart, looked to be in shambles, clueless, aimless.
Yeah, that happened.
Divided.
I'll be honest. I assumed a victory, so I didn't even turn it on, and then I checked the halftime.
Did you wake up in the morning? Or
No.
Okay,
I mean, I was up. I had a choice. I chose not to. And I went online at half. I saw it was 2-0. I said, ooh, well.
Be a problem.
It's probably a problem.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to keep away from it. And this morning I did turn on Twitter, And in case you missed it,
Yeah.
there were 82
Oh,
tweets
it
about.
just goes on.
I didn't know soccer was such a big damn deal in this country until we failed to make the World Cup.
Well, it's never happened in your lifetime.
Yeah, they didn't play in '86.
So 86 is where we got to go back.
Yeah, the last time they didn't play.
That's right.
Yeah.
So 86, and well, I was a sophomore in high school. You were being born. That always strikes me whenever we do that, whenever we have anything that happened in the 80s that I remember distinctly because, I was in high school.
Like, I feel bad for the people who have watched the ups and downs of Bradley to Klinsmann to Arena,
Right.
and I like watching international competitions, but I'm not about the inner workings of U.S. soccer. Like, I don't invest time in those
Yeah,
types of things.
yeah.
So I feel bad for those folks today.
Both my brothers played college soccer, and they are so passionate. My other brother, it was like me. He played 12 years of soccer, and I'll talk a lot about it on the air here just because click is what would happen on a regular basis. But when I go home, when I see them, when we sit down and have conversations about college football, we have conversations about professional football, Major League Baseball. One of them likes it, the other doesn't care. Hockey, my one brother up in New Hampshire, we talk a lot about hockey. But the one unifying thing that we have for all of us is that we all played soccer, and two of them played college soccer, and that we do talk a little bit about the inner workings. Now, they're much more locked in. In fact, my one brother plays in an adult league still, so he's still playing, and he's older than me, and he loves the game. And I'll listen to the two of them go back and forth, and I'll just chime in where I can and have some fun with this discussion. But you didn't get a sense, dating back to a little over a year ago, that they thought side of the mountain type stuff. And so this, I think, is a confronting of a stark reality, speaking of which, in the first segment about FSU football, that is hard for people who are immersed in it and die hard to take. You only get so many of these opportunities.
Well, sure. Like, let's say you're a Knoll fan and you're a Miami Dolphins fan and you love U.S. soccer, and those are the three things you hang your hat on.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Today's a rough day for you, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, filled with them. Filled with a bunch of tough days. Been lots of them.
Today, you thought, well, okay, I can at least
fall back on that.
They're going to win this game, and next year this time, we'll have watched some great World Cup soccer. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it had already been a miserable qualifying campaign, so there was plenty of discussion prior to the last night's game where there were the previous setbacks where you're going, what's going on,
But then they get the win on Friday, and it looks like all is right with the world. All they got to do is go get a result last night. Like, I'm following the storylines. I'm just not, living and dying by U.S. soccer.
Well, the problem is this, too, and there are more people like you than not, for sure, and that's why this will be the last time we talk about it today. What you basically have is, again, in a lot of situations, 22 years worth of investment, player development, money, all that, and we're still banging our head against the wall. Now, compared to the rest of the world with the academies and all that other stuff, it's a very different investment, and obviously the elite coaches are going to go places where they can be paid like elite coaches on every level so that you then build up to this greater thing that doesn't exist in the United States.
Right, and the question is, and it's the age-old question, do you want to force-feed funding for something that's not even a priority still? Maybe it will be, and of course, with football waning, I got your participation's up and all that, but...
Well, I think this is the big point, is that I think a lot of people assumed that you could take advantage of football's waning popularity now by capturing the hearts and minds by making a World Cup. But I actually believe that that's probably overshooting here. I think that where that will happen is 20 years from now, 24, 26 years from now.
When the kids who are playing now are of the age, yes.
Right. And as football's popularity, which is just now beginning to wane, it really, prior to the last 2 years, professional football, meaning the kind played with pads in which people get tackled in this country, really was continuing to grow, impossibly so. We didn't believe it could, and it continued to do so, and the ratings for the sport continued to do so, and the revenue for the sport continued to do so, and there wasn't a drop-off, a decline in youth participation. But now you're seeing that begin to shift.
Well, there was one point that Le Batard brought up today, and I found it interesting just because I don't associate, except for Monday Night Football, I don't associate the NFL with cable. But what is the impact of cord cutting? If you don't have any provider at all, be it cable or satellite, I mean, are all those people going out and buying the over-the-air antennas that they can put on their HD TV so they can grab the local signals to watch their game of the week on Fox or CBS or NBC? And what is the cord-cutting impact having on, the sport? And I think that might be an interesting thing to look into as we discover ratings up or down, and we go down by 3% this week, up 6% the next week compared to last year.
How devastated today. You and I love the behind-the-scenes stuff of the business itself, and we're constantly monitoring exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
How'd you like to be Fox? Woo.
Oh, well, yes.
I mean, my God. Think about what happened with them. They joined Telemundo and paid, I believe I pulled up the figure earlier today when I was show prepping, nearly $2 billion for the World Cup rights from 2015 through 2026. I mean, God, dog.
Well, you can only do so many El Tri pregame shows.
It's a Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
The Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% financing for 72 months on select Fusion, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Plus, get $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends August 22nd. Best selling based on current year 2016 sales. Don't drive while distracted. Use voice-operated systems when possible. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the do.
Nothing quite beats authentic Italian food and a Pepsi. Indulge your taste buds and experience all the flavor of Italy right here in Tallahassee. Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month, or up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Contact your local CenturyLink retail store to enter for a chance to win the CenturyLink Ultimate Football Fan Experience, which includes a trip to the biggest game of the year. For eligibility and official rules, go to CenturyLinkFanForLife.com/FAQ. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. The Nationals' Steven Strasburg will start a must-win against the Cubs in the NLDS today. Yesterday, manager Dusty Baker said it would be Tanner Roark because Strasburg was feeling under the weather. Strasburg today went to Baker, said he was feeling much better. Then it's the Indians and Yankees in a winner-take-all Game 5 of the ALDS, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. Corey Kluber and CC Sabathia. All pitchers will be on short leashes tonight, according to Indians play-by-play announcer Tom Hamilton.
Both these ball clubs now will empty their bullpens tonight. We know that. So anybody that's showing any kind of signs of trouble early, you're not going to see anyone hesitate to go to their bullpen. And this is one of those ball games with these two bullpens. You just can't afford to be playing catch-up baseball.
Tom Hamilton on the Baseball Tonight podcast. John Farrell out as Red Sox manager. GM Dave Dombrowski says the organization needs change. NFL Giants will suspend corner Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie after he came in today, decided to leave. No other details yet known.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Time for the 11th annual Brewfest. Over 200 beer varieties with unlimited sampling presented by the Tallahassee Sunrise Rotary Club. Good people over there. Come sample varieties of craft beer to learn what you like. Do it. Event is October 28th. That's rapidly approaching. From 5 to 8 p.m. held at the Antique Car Museum. General admission is only $39 with food available for purchase while you're there. VIPs have exclusive access. You get in at 4 o'clock. All net proceeds go to charity. Brewfest sells out quickly. You're going to want to get your tickets now. Visit the Facebook page, brewfesttallahassee.com, for event details and ticket information. We'll be there.
Yes, we will.
Partaking in the goodness that is Brewfest every year. I've missed the last couple for a variety of reasons. Some of it work-related, some of it family-related. This year I will not miss.
Over under 87 degrees at the beginning of Brewfest.
I want to talk about this, Tom. I've already reached a place of oversaturation with the weather. I have. Like, physically, when I step outside in the morning and I feel the wet blanket that is this humidity blanket, I get really, really incensed. And then I talk about it too much in my own home. I'm driving my family nuts because I come in and bitch about it all the time. Like, that's the first thing I do. Hey, how you doing? Well, I'd be better. I'd be better if it wasn't 105 degrees in freaking October. Yeah, that's... I'm getting there. It reminds me in my early 20s when I had no patience to speak of. And before I was married with kids or anything else, and I would just lash out at the world's injustice and why it was that God had forsaken the state of Florida and weather. And I thought, why do I live here? I need to leave. I need to leave this sorry-ass state. I mean, this is ridiculous. And, I got better about that because I learned over time that here's the deal. People don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They feel it. There are many people who feel just as I do about this weather, but they don't need to tune in and turn on and hear me prattling on about the weather. So I learned how to guard against it, but I'm reaching a breaking point.
Well, it's like the guy who audibly complains about the delay, when
Right.
you're air travel and you're stuck on the plane.
You're on the plane. What are you going to do?
Like, man, we're all in this together.
What are you going to do? Yeah, I know enough not to do that. I'm not like walking into parties. Hey, Bob, good to see you on a Friday night. How about this weather? No, I'm not that guy. But in my own home where I can vent, and they're held hostage.
But here's the question. More angry about the state of Florida State football?
No, the weather has me more pissed off currently.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
the weather's, no, listen, the team. So we go to the Louisville game on the 21st, and I walk in that place, and it's 92. I don't care if we've lost the Duke game. I'm going to be like, well, what? As the whole world conspired against us to make this the crappiest season of all time, is it going to be 100 till we get to Florida, and we're going to lose these games to boot?
Is the whole world gone crazy?
Yeah.
Am I the only one around here who gives a about the rules?
Or the seasons? Are they just gone?
Is the whole world gone crazy?
We don't get seasons anymore. It's 94 in November. Yeah, no, we're going to be doing the Jeff Cameron show from freaking Alaska. It's getting absurd.
Just go up to Halifax, man.
Oh,
it's a great area.
Yeah, I want to live in Halifax. I
want just for remote shows.
No.
I'm remote shows.
I want. Damn it! It makes me want to weep.
Maybe we can do our next Friday show from the 7th Hill Tap Room in the walk-in cooler.
I want. I say this every year when it gets bad. But I don't want to hear a word from people around town when in, late January we have a rare moment of cold. A cold snap comes in and it gets in the low 30s for a night and the high is in the high 40s for the day because it's overcast. And you always run into that lady who's like, oh, this is terrible. I thought I lived in Florida. Oh, just shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it. It's 105 degrees year round. You can deal with 30 today.
What was that impression? That's wonderful.
The woman.
It sounds like a Brady Hoke with a half-high pitch.
No, you get that, right? Every time it's even remotely nippy outside. I thought I lived in Florida. I could have stayed in Maine if I would. Just shut up. It is hot all the damn time. All of the time. So that's, yeah.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
And I am, probably being spurred on by the pathetic nature of our football team, too.
I asked the question. I'm the one to blame, but I would have been more interested. You didn't hesitate, though, to see you think about it and then answer whether or not Florida State football or the weather. It's the weather,
It's the weather by far. It's just ridiculous.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, man. You talk to your buddies.
Florida State football lost again, this time to weather.
But just, you talk to somebody. One of my brothers lives in Atlanta. When I went up to Atlanta for the Alabama game, it was gorgeous. It was picture perfect. You could sit out after the game, after we lost, and I was kind of digesting all that. And by the time I got back to his house, we went out on the deck, hung out. I watched Washington State. And I'm sitting down watching that game, having a cold beer. We're out on his deck. And I actually went, man, I may have to throw on a sweatshirt. I didn't bring one. Didn't think I needed one. He was like, it's crazy. It always switches flipped over here in Atlanta for some reason. He goes, just get up to Atlanta. You're all right. After that, weather changes when football starts, buddy. It's beautiful. I'm like, well, 4 hours away. It's perfect. Where I am, it's 98 and humid.
So close.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's ridiculous.
You could just touch it with one drive of my beautiful Kraft Nissan Pathfinder.
What's also funny is that I'm kicking around the idea of having to switch gears to something else because listen, the Jam with Coach Ham is this Friday at 6:30. Tully Gym kicks off the start of another basketball season. And nobody wants to hear that right now. I'm sorry, Seminole basketball. I know you won every single game you played last year at the TLC-CC, which, should I remind everybody again, they won every single – if you went to a game last year in Tallahassee, you saw a win. End of story. Any game. Didn't matter if it was Louisville's cheating ass or bottom of the barrel.
That was a good game.
Great game. You saw win after win after win after win after win after win after win. I mean, you could just whistle away as you entered the TLC Double C, knowing I'm about to watch a win.
You remember the circumstances of that Louisville game? We come out on a killer run, and then we take out.
Oh, we started out like 16-0 or something.
Then we take out our,
Yeah, we pulled that group because he wanted to rest them. He wanted to use the depth. Hey, I bitch, but they won the game.
They won.
They won the game.
Wouldn't we take that on Saturdays right now?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I would like to, look at the roster. They lose 4 starters. They lost the number 6 pick to the NBA draft, second-round pick, and an NBA camp invitee as well. You'd like to think that that won't be devastating. It's hard to believe it won't be devastating, right? Probably going to be devastating.
Unless they play better defense.
But you do return 7 veterans, and because they played so many people last year, a lot of those guys have immense experience, not just guys that were on the team, but they're guys that played a lot. So there's maybe reason to buy in a little bit. But see, doing this right now, what I'm doing right now, talking about this, now this angers me too. Because I can only do this, not because on the schedule this Friday is the Jam with Coach Ham at 6:30 at Tully Gym, but because there's like a need to do this. We have to shift gears away from continuing to kick our football team.
Right. So what we need to do is preview the games when nobody shows up, including TV crews, the 2 of those that we do. And then, the month of warm-up games where they're going to score between 90 and 100, and we'll overreact to that. We're going to need to spend more time covering that. That's lovely. That's great. I'm glad my football program put us in a position where we have to give an extra segment or 2 a week to that. That's wonderful.
You know what we should do? We're always talking about perhaps finding these weekends where, so this show is a lot of things to a lot of people. I like that. I like that it's grown into that for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's just pure entertainment. There are people who listen to this show who don't agree with 75% of what I have to say about anything. And they just like the show, though. They're entertained. There are other people that love and agree with me about almost everything. And then there are those that fall somewhere in between, which is probably the vast majority, right? Some days they're like, yeah, I agree with that. Other days they're like, no, not as much. But they're entertained, whatever. But when we're seeking to expand the show, as we have now with our podcast numbers and done well regionally and all of that stuff, one of the things that we wanted to incorporate was the idea of finding some games to go to and kind of bringing the show on the road a little bit. Maybe doing some broadcasts from other cities and finding games and maybe scouting those early on and doing some things next year from spring training and all this other stuff throughout the state. And we should just say screw it, because nobody cares about the Syracuse game that we're going to play here. There might be 25,000 people at the Syracuse game. Is that homecoming?
Probably. It would be smart. Maybe Delaware State should be the homecoming game.
When is Parents' Day? When can we see the Seminole socks and the plastic watches and the belt
there's
buckles?
Only a few home games left.
Yeah. So I don't know. They may get artificially enhanced attendance numbers because people want an excuse to leave their city to come up here and relive their college days so many years ago, I guess. But what I'm saying is...
maybe the fans from the 60s, I mean, or 76, they'll know what this looks like.
Man, nothing's changed. Yeah,
there's buildings around here now, but other than that...
Well, anyhow, the whole thing is we could pick those weekends just to go and do the show and record some audio and do some podcast-like stuff at other venues. We should go to like a big Pac-12 game and then go to a big Big Ten game and a big Big 12 game and a big SEC game. One. Just a bunch of big.
Let's cover Bucks at Packers in the beginning of December at Lambeau.
Okay.
At Lambeau.
I'll go to Lambeau.
Why not?
Yeah, I'd like to. So that's what it is. There we go, guys. You'll hear about the Jeff Cameron Show on the road in Lambeau.
Let's plan our Army-Navy.
I should call the golf coach. Hey, bet you didn't expect to hear from me. I'm calling in the favor. Me and my friend Tom are on our way up. Field passes, you said so.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the mind of the human male is a peculiar thing. Every day we walk through a car wash of external stimuli, from the eyeballs to the ear holes, to exotic hot dog smells, to imported energy drinks. So does our mind wander? You bet it does. Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's why Sport Clips is Sport Clips. They make a haircut memorable, but with as little thought required from us as possible. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. So if that man in the mirror looks like an island castaway, or just has some hair that needs attention, well, you've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep. Easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E+ from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. The Nationals' Steven Strasburg will start a must-win against the Cubs in the NLDS today. Yesterday, manager Dusty Baker said it would be Tanner Roark because Strasburg was feeling under the weather. Strasburg today went to Baker, said he was feeling much better. Then it's the Indians and Yankees in a winner-take-all Game 5 of the ALDS, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. Corey Kluber and CC Sabathia. All pitchers will be on short leashes tonight, according to Indians play-by-play announcer Tom Hamilton.
Both these ball clubs now will empty their bullpens tonight. We know that. So anybody that's showing any kind of signs of trouble early, you're not going to see anyone hesitate to go to their bullpen. And this is one of those ball games with these two bullpens. You just can't afford to be playing catch-up baseball.
Tom Hamilton on the Baseball Tonight podcast. John Farrell out as Red Sox manager. GM Dave Dombrowski says the organization needs a change. NFL Giants will suspend corner Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie after he came in today, decided to leave. No other details yet known.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, hope you're well. Happy Ballsmick Wednesday. I'm Jeff. That is Tom. He produces the program. Matthew directs it on television back there for the interwebs. You can watch us on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. You can always email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. If you miss any portion of the program and you want to go get caught up, you can either use the YouTube feed there or you can go online to our website or iTunes and find the show in its entirety. That's good. Limited commercial interruption, too, when you go back and get caught up. That's a nice thing. You know what I learned yesterday? I learned something positive in the midst of all this negativity with the U.S. soccer team failing us and with the football team failing us and the weather being 105 in October. Is this, Tom? I learned that I can do a split by accident and not be hurt. Well, at least one time. Yeah. I did a split yesterday. Like
really?
Maybe
like
not a
forward back split or side to side split.
No, not side to side.
Okay.
I don't think I would have survived side to side.
Okay.
I did a split, and it's really not a complete split. My youngest plays soccer, and he had practice yesterday, and so it was. I take him to those practices when I can. If I can get out of here in time, I get over there for practice, and then their practices go till just after 7 and all that, right? So we're on our way back to the car, and a lot of times what I do with him is, I create a situation where basically he and I are on a run, and I lead him, and I tell him, all right, cross, use your left foot, and then I run to an area to space and have him cross, and we practice back and forth and all that. And we were doing sort of really more of a ball control first touch type of drill, and I was jogging sort of backwards when he passed me the ball, and I went to plant my foot, and it slipped, and my other foot was on the ball, and woo, there we go. I'm going down. But pride and embarrassment and all the other aspects that kick in. There are people out there. I'm like, you got to buck up, soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So I locked up those core muscles, and I kept some balance, but I was in bad shape. And I thought, when I get up, I'm going to be in a lot of pain. I'm gonna stand up here and learn that I've torn my hamstring or I've done something. No, it was fine. It was fine. It's all right. Happened very suddenly.
It's that deep, anxious breath saying, okay. It's
Am I hurt? Am I hurt? Yeah.
The swift movement in the middle of the night when you know, ooh, that could be a cramp-inducing movement. What have I done?
Worst ever.
Yeah.
When you take a turn and you feel that little twinge in your calf and you go, we may have a problem here.
You can be Dalvin Cook in the open field against Miami
and just drop a ball. You're like,
and prevent yourself from, getting the cramp.
Uh-huh.
But
you got to act quickly.
Yeah. Sometimes your mind is because you're still asleep.
Yeah, it's like,
and then
I don't
you
know.
make the full movement.
Oh, we got a problem.
Why did I just commit to giving myself this cramp?
Well, and you can't wake up. Like, you have a girlfriend that you live with, so you don't want to wake her up, and I can't wake up my wife in that situation. I have before, though. The cramp has been so bad before that I've gone, grab my foot quick and push it towards me. Like, where you just are locked up in agony. So this story, the baseball game's about to start, and I won't ruin anything as this game goes on today. But, of course, Cubs, Nats got pushed back. And, your NLDS, good stuff here. There's everything on the line, whole deal. And last night, they were saying that Steven Strasburg was not going to start because he had a cold. I'm not so old school and antiquated in my way of thinking that I can't come around to some sensibilities that I would question at times, toughness, those kinds of things.
Earlier in life.
But this one, I thought, you better have pneumonia. Like, if you're not starting this game and I have to start Tanner Roark, his sorry ass.
Roark got knocked out in the third inning.
Roark's been getting his
slit. He really has.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're basically saying goodbye to the season at that point. I got to roll Clown Boy out here. And
oh, wait, they're not up 2-1 in the series?
No. So,
It's an elimination game, you say?
So my situation was that I thought, okay, well, there's no way he went to Dusty Baker, who's a fool. But anyhow, went to Dusty Baker and said, I got the sniffles, little congested, feel a little under the weather. There's no way that he did that. It can't be, right? I thought Dusty didn't do him any favors at the podium saying, well, he's had some trouble breathing. He's a little under the weather, a little decongestion. We're going to try to help him out. What? It's a cold? You're telling me my man has a cold?
Right.
You better step to the podium and say my man has mono.
Well,
like it's devastating. We don't know when he's going to come back.
You don't say decongestants if that's in fact what he said. I didn't.
Well,
hear
no,
the
he
comment.
said he was a little stuffed up.
You say IVs. We're pumping him with IVs to see
As we speak.
If he can be ready to go. But he needs fluids, and so that's what we're doing behind the scenes. And people will back off when they hear IV. They'll go, whoa, well, an IV.
Well, I'm just saying that as a manager, he does him a disservice because I think let's say he is that soft. Let's say he has a cold and he doesn't want to pitch because he feels a little under the weather. Maybe he's a little tired, Tom. A little tired. You got to come to the dais and tell everybody that he's on death's door. I mean, I better hear that my man is laid out, has been for 72 hours since his last start. We're pumping him full of IVs. We're trying to do everything with fluids, with IVs. We're trying to do everything we can. Believe me, he wants to start. He's desperate to start, but we just don't know if it's if that's a prudent move right now. You don't tell people that a little under the weather. This time of year in Chicago, it's kind of mold. I don't know. He's sneezing a little.
There's mold in the hotel room. I'm sorry. I can't go, guys. There's mold in my room. I can't do it. I don't know what you want from me. I can't do it.
So he's starting now. It's 4:08. This is when the first pitch is to happen. And the Nationals will have you believe that they switched his antibiotics. They gave him a higher dose. See, the GM, Mike Rizzo, went to the Jeff Cameron Show PR firm and figured it all out. After Dusty Baker's press conference, everybody called Steven Strasburg soft, or other words, off the record. What happened was obviously the GM realized, well, this is a problem. So he gave us, quote, switched his antibiotics, gave him a higher dose, IV fluids throughout the evening, and he felt much better this morning.
IV fluids. See? I didn't know he said that. That's out of my
and
playbook.
Dosage of antibiotics was up, gave him help throughout the night. He was feeling much better. He felt compelled, begged us to let him start, wants to get this game in the worst way.
I'm not a pharmacist, but isn't testosterone a hormone? Because that's what it sounds like he needed. Yeah. And that's what it sounds like he got overnight.
You think they needed a testosterone boost?
I think he got a man boost. That's right.
You think so? Like, all right, listen here. We pay you whatever they
That's
pay.
$175 million guaranteed over the life of his current contract.
It's crazy. I don't know if he'll pitch well or not. I mean, this is a similar story for the Nationals every year, but
he should have just a big rag in his back pocket that he coughs and sneezes into after every pitch.
Just frequently rub his nose. Just kind of, a little stuffed up. What do we got? 1-1? Okay. See if I can execute this fastball on the outside corner.
Time. He sneezes.
A little stuffed up. Little about to cough. You can't do it, man. That's just the simple PR things that we see from time to time drive me nuts.
I hope you didn't swear in the last 15 seconds because when I did the fake sneeze.
Coughing?
No, my fake sneeze actually took my headset out of the microphone rack, so I have no idea what you said.
I was not cursing. Troy writes, at Jay Cameron Show, hey, Jeff, if Duke wins, don't we have to fire somebody like right now in order to save something in recruiting? Duke got the extra inches is not going to cut it. That's from Troy. I haven't thought about that. So let's go back down this road again.
Oh, boy.
If they lose to Duke, do they have to fire somebody right now? No, because I don't think it does you any good. I don't think it saves the season. I don't think it saves recruiting. If they lose to Duke, recruiting is going to be hurt either way. The season is already pretty much lost. It'd be really, really lost at this point. The plane has crashed into the mountain at that point. You could play the clip all day long from the Big Lebowski. We would have to. Then we would just, I don't know what we would do. I think we'd start to talk about a culture that has been absolutely lost in that locker room and what Jimbo has to do to try to instill it again.
Yeah, but that last point, what does Jimbo have to do at the dais if that were to happen? Doesn't he have to say something a little bit more aggressive?
I don't know what he – well, it's a good question. And all jokes aside, hey, listen, this isn't just fodder for sports talk. Seriously, what would you have him do? I don't know what he could do. I would hate to be in that position as a coach. We've longed for years for coaches to just be as brutally honest as possible. In the NFL – where it is just about, it's a league of mercenaries. It is just about wins and losses, period. There is no other talking point. Nobody wants to hear excuses. They're all very handsomely paid, et cetera, and they're not amateurs. Moreover, if a guy doesn't win, he doesn't win, you want those guys to be brutally honest because everybody knows the game. Stop fooling around, hiding behind academics or anything else. You don't have to. Come out and say, well, clearly we're not getting the job done. I mean, we're 3-6, and there's a good chance I'll be fired by season's end if we don't get this turned around. So we're all playing for our jobs. Like, you want that kind of a press conference. It never happens, but you'd like to hear it. I don't know what you would do if that happened here. If he goes to 1-4 with your one win being a narrow escape against Wake, what would you say? Well, what could you say? I'd be afraid of what he'd say because I don't know what I want him to say.
Well, couldn't it be something to the effect of every job is on the line from here on out? Players, everyone. And then you just leave it at that and move on to your next point. Everybody, every week, nothing is certain anymore. So let's,
does that do anybody any good?
It would satiate people for about a news cycle or two, maybe a day or two.
I don't know.
Then you get to Wednesday and you'd be prepping for Louisville going, good God, are we going to go 1-5?
It's hard to fathom, right? I mean, if they don't win this game, and I suppose there is a distinct possibility they don't win the game, I think they're going to win the game. I said that on Monday. I'll say it now. I think they are going to win the game. I think they ought to run the ball 55 times, frankly. But that said, if they lose this game, I don't know. This would be uncharted territory for me as a talk show host. I don't know what I would say. I mean, the season's already lost. What more would I say? And this is the other reality we're up against here. So, histrionics, here we go. If we go back to when I started to bang the drum about change needing to happen when we had a living legend as a head coach, when we had Bobby Bowden, that was a very unpopular opinion at the time that I first gave it. And there were some people who agreed with me, but 90-something% that didn't. And with each setback, with each transgression, I would reiterate my point that I thought we were moving in the wrong direction. But it was a slow build because you're talking about a guy that had 2 national titles, built the program in essence in the mind of many, was folksy and beloved, and for good reason, I might add. And so there would be no knee-jerk or anything like that. This was going to, without question, I knew even when I was saying what I was saying that this was going to take a while. Like, this might be years' worth of arguing and watching a transition, or maybe he'll salvage it or whatever it would be. But, every day I knew, well, another chapter, right? This situation is not that situation. He's not beloved, but he is safe. He's going nowhere with the buyout currently, so it's an entirely different situation. Not beloved, can't go anywhere because of a buyout. So it's just cold and stale and dark, right? It's the stuff that people hate. It's money, and it's modern, and it's not. There's no folksy nature, no charming element to the story. I don't know how that would go, how the discussion and talking points would go from there.
Yeah, but if he had an approval rating, let's say like a political figure, it would be well over 50% still at this point, would it not?
Yeah, all right, but lose to Duke and see if that's there.
I hear you.
No, I agree.
The approval rating for the head coach isn't, in a dark place right now.
No, but I'm
it's
saying I
the
think
staff.
Yeah, but I think if you lose to Duke, what I'm saying is that slowly gets chipped away at.
Sure.
Right now, the ire is primarily against the staff.
Well, and his approval rating, if we were playing that game before Alabama, before he kick it off, would be in a really high place compared to where it is now. So I hear you there.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There are some that are saying, well, listen, hey, man, the lack of changes here are on Jimbo. The lack of changes in the coaching staff are on Coach. So why are we talking about coordinators? Because that guy is not making the changes.
Well, but he can't. This week.
Well, because
here's where we're going back and beating the dead horse. He can't do anything right now.
But many of those who are saying that were at least on board before this season started.
Well, no.
They're not changing or flip flopping in midstream.
Completely agree. They're validated right now. See, this is hard because they're being validated in the same way that I was validated with back in the Bowden era with each loss.
Right.
But in a similar situation, neither side, not me back then or them now, wants to be validated. You don't want that to be true because it means your team is losing more games and you're about to go through change and upheaval and all that other stuff. So nobody wants that to be true. Also, that was one at the end of last year, there were plenty of people who rightfully said, listen, I think he probably needs to make a change. But I'll note this, too. Before that ever happened, before the talking point that Charles or any other coach needed to go, when Charles was promoted to defensive coordinator, there were a lot of questions from diehard, loyal Florida State fans that said, this is Florida State. You don't give a guy a first-time shot at defensive coordinator, elevating him from defensive backs coach to be a DC here. You're Florida State. You can get anybody you want. It's Florida State. It's a great job. Why don't we go out and get a name? Why don't we go out and get a guy that's proven himself time and again?
Well, if you did that, you go poach him from another school, an up-and-coming position coach on a defense like Pruitt. But I think the more –
But I'm saying those people were first guessing.
Correct. But I think the bigger point at the time was we had a delay. There was a delay before Coach Kelly was named. Remember, that defensive coordinator search went on for a little while, and then it became by default. This is probably going to be your guy, and then a week goes by. You know, boy, are they going to name Charles or not?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? Blank or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Is this, or is there another name we don't know about that they're courting at the? I mean, remember that?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes those days, we're like, well, they're not getting that guy. He took another job. They're not getting this guy. He took this job. So I know he was a candidate on the list, but there have been no other candidates for days, and we're still not naming him the defensive coordinator. So from the very beginning, this has been kind of a goofy,
convoluted sort
mess.
of. Yeah,
yes.
No, right. So its origins, the genesis of all this didn't start in a real secure place.
It wasn't, right,
sturdy,
well, we wish Jeremy the best, but Charles, come on in, and here we go.
No, it was never that way. He was always being looked at with a jaundiced eye. There was always sort of a, we'll see. I don't know about you, man. Out here getting your shot first time. We'll see about this. By the way, people are wrong that say he's never had success. 2015, they were good on defense.
Yeah.
So, they've had some success.
And we were remarking, and it was the whole team in general. But 2014, the talking point was, well, I'll tell you what, he can make adjustments at halftime. You know, that talking point, because the team was always awful in the first half and then played well. Well, whatever he does at halftime, if he could just do that to start games, we forget about that too. But
I don't forget about it. It's there. It's all part of the mountain of evidence that they should move on. But by the way, back to Troy's question, if Duke wins, do we have to fire somebody right away because Duke just got those inches, won't fly? You're right, it won't fly. I don't think he can say anything about inches if Duke wins.
He probably should have stopped games ago, but he's going to stick with the inches thing, man. I think that's through 2017. I think, we're stuck with the inches comment.
I just don't know what he should say. Like, what can you say? I do actually pity coaches in this situation everywhere, no matter where they are. If your team is losing and you have to do these press conferences, there's no good way. I mean, it's a bad way to handle it, but I don't think there are too many good ways to handle it either. I don't think you can win.
Well, yeah, it's akin to playing a team that's in the FCS and you could beat them 30-0, and people will say, "Well, 30-0,
right?"
Or you could beat them 70-3,
and then you ran up to score like an ass, yeah.
Or that's what they're supposed to do. So
right.
I don't know.
No, you can't win for losing. There's I don't know what you would do if you lose to Duke. What can you say that would make anybody happy? There isn't anything to say. They're not going to lose to Duke.
Yeah, percentage chance they lose to Duke in your mind right now?
15%.
Okay.
Although, I mean, what is Vegas still got this at less than a touchdown?
I'll look it up. Yeah,
that's insulting. I mean, that in and of itself is crazy.
Of all the things that have gone wrong,
yeah, I mean,
and you are fewer than a touchdown, full touchdown plus an extra point favorite.
All right, here I'm pulling it up right now.
Ooh,
we're here.
Right.
We're
on the fly.
We're here. I'm gonna pull this up. That's a noon kick. Should be easy to find on my Vegas Insider.
You do. I'm gonna play that Tanner Roark clip.
Roark got knocked out in the third inning.
Roark's been getting his
slit. He really has.
It opened at -8 for Florida State. According to Vegas Insider, it's currently -7. Total of 40. Is that right? The total is 44? My goodness gracious. I'll give the 7. You want the 7?
Little sneak peek.
I'll give you a little Duke plus 7, buddy. You want that?
No, I don't, because that's just wrong. I can't take Duke plus 7 against us. That hurts.
Well, they're 4-2 Duke Blue Devils, man. They're right there.
I don't care if it's the right play. I don't care if it's the right play. No, I'm not making that play.
Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Noles defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit MMTCFL.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knowles to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knowles. License number CAC 057652.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to goodclearwater.com. That's goodclearwater.com.
Our anniversary is here, so break out the cake. We've got some big-time sales to help you celebrate. Goodies is having our anniversary sale. Come in now and get 30 to 40% off throughout the store. Plus, on Friday and Saturday, you can save an additional 25, 30, or 40% with our in-store surprise scratch-off. And don't forget to check out today's deals online for even more ways to save. Hurry in, our anniversary sale is going on now. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Sage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Proof Brewing Company is Tallahassee's first and largest production craft brewery since 2012. They are locally owned and operated inside Railroad Square Art Park. Visit Proof's expansive brewery, outdoor beer garden, and tasting room with live music on Friday evenings. Proof Brewing Company's award-winning beers 850 and Mango Wit are now available in 6-pack cans. Follow Proof Brewing Company on Facebook or visit online at proofbrewingco.com for more info. Proof Brewing Company reminds you to please drink responsibly.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show. Wanted to wait till Spider-Man line went out there. I just like the line. We listened through. We've edited. You know, we were all right. I remember when we put it in the system.
When he did it, I was like, wait, you're not having like a flashback to the AM dial or something.
No, I wanted Wu-Tang to play out. I like Wu-Tang, and then I was thinking we edited this. I do recall. We're about to have an influx of a bunch of new music that I've secured lately.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we got a bunch of we got to, man. Got to shake it up a little bit. All right, so this is an interesting dilemma, I guess. What can you check while we're here? You know, I'm not Recruit Nick. Pull up what the crystal ball or whatever the consolidated rankings are for the recruiting class, please.
Our class as it stands right now?
Yeah.
It's team ranking number 7.
Okay, so they're currently 7th?
Yeah.
Okay. Mario writes...
Glad I looked that up earlier today.
Yeah.
It's top of mind.
Yeah, well, it should be. Okay, Mario writes, at Jay Cameron Show, what's the consensus recruiting ranking that would have you concerned that the compressor in the fridge is about to blow? 9 or 15? He wrote 9, 15, whatever. Yeah. So,
should I rattle off the teams that are in the top 15?
So, do me a favor. Give me the top 10 currently.
Okay, Ohio State.
By the way, is this Knowles 247 with the...
Well, it's 24/7 Sports. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So it's Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Miami.
Texas is number 2?
Texas is number 2.
Bump. They get the bump. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they've got 18 total commits, 13 4-stars currently.
Well, Herman, okay, I got you. New coaches in places like that happens.
Ohio State's on a different level right now. They got 4 5-stars. I'm looking at the rest of the top 10, and the rest of the top 10 has 5 5-stars combined. So Ohio State with the line.
Rolling on Big River. Okay, yeah. Ohio State, Texas.
Penn State, number 3. Miami at number 4.
Wow, that's a bit troubling.
They got a 5-star, 13 4s, and 5 3s. Oregon, okay.
New coach.
That's a quantity thing, too.
Any kind of new coach.
They've got 23 total commits right now.
Right.
Tennessee.
Have you said Alabama yet?
I have not, and I won't in the top 10.
Wow.
I won't. Florida State at 7, Florida at 8, Notre Dame at 9, Oklahoma at 10.
Is this like the 2022 class? What the hell is going on here? That is bizarre.
2018, which is in the next cycle.
Yeah. You're telling me that Florida is just behind Florida State and that Alabama's behind both?
Want to take a guess where Alabama is?
15th.
Nope, lower. Worse, I should say.
18th.
Worse.
23rd.
Dead on the money. 23rd.
What in the hell is going on in Alabama?
Alabama only has 11 total commitments right now.
Okay, so it's a small class, and that's all they're going to need, right?
Most classes that are in the top 10 range between 17 and 22.
Well, given that is a really strange mix and influx of teams that aren't ordinarily where they're ranked currently, I have a hard time guessing, Mario, exactly what that would. I'll tell you what, if they're finished 9th, given the current layout, I'd say, bravo, way to hold your own in this bizarro world that is the current class for 2018.
Very quickly, 11 through 20. UCLA 11, Georgia at 12.
UCLA. What kid on earth, other than one who doesn't really care about winning football games whatsoever, goes to UCLA? Now, listen, there are many other reasons to go to UCLA, especially if you plan on being a doctor. And also, I've been to that campus, walked that campus, and there is quite a bit of talent on that campus.
Sure.
But other than that, like if football-related reasons, why would you go to UCLA?
Okay, again, this is a quantity thing. They've got 23 commitments at the moment, 6 4-stars, 17 3-stars.
I was going to say 23 dumbasses.
This is like Miami, from
nuts.
2 or 3 years ago when they just had everybody committed to them. Georgia at 12, A&M at 13, Michigan at 14, Mississippi State, LSU, Clemson, Maryland, TCU, and USC.
Clemson's where?
Clemson is at 17. Again, 11 commitments at the moment. 2 5-stars. But they really, 11 total commitments.
That is something. That is something. So, doing that little bit of research there, Mario, I'll just tell you, if they're top 10, I'll be pretty happy. I guess 25th or something would have me concerned.
You'll have a much, much, much better idea of who's going to be in the top 10, top 15 around, say, December 15th.
Well, by the way, one thing that is brought up pretty consistently by the people that do this for a living in recruiting, that any given bad year or any given great year, singular, do not have that big an impact on recruiting. So the big question mark for Florida State was the Miami loss indicative of what's about to be, meaning Miami wrestling control of the rivalry and a measure of recruiting that sees them keep talented players out of South Florida in South Florida, because Florida State is rated right in their backyard 5-star after 5-star, and that's led to Miami's problems and obviously the rise of Florida State as well in recruiting and on the field. So if the loss is just a loss and it's a one-off and it doesn't turn into something greater, you can live with it. If it's a sign of things to come, and that's what people will be closely monitoring, then you're obviously very, very concerned.
Well, and this isn't from a recruiting, analyst perspective. This is just from me looking at the big picture. Here's why I'd be concerned right now. Not just our record, not just the loss to Miami, but Miami looks like it's getting its act together.
Well,
it's
they're
got
number 4 in recruiting.
It's got something to sell, Georgia has more to sell than it's had in quite some time.
But you knew that was going to happen. Georgia has to take advantage of hiring a new coach, just like Miami does. They're going to have that, but at some point it becomes sustaining success on the field.
Virginia Tech
right now are doing that.
Virginia Tech has more to sell than it did, and the Mid-Atlantic has been an area where we've poached at will.
Sure.
So you're looking at 3 areas on the recruiting map where it's going to get a little bit tougher over the next couple of years.
Well, listen, the complaint about Florida State's coaching staff, beyond whether it's on the field results or off the field subject matter, the off-the-field stuff is that they're old and really white. I mean, those are the complaints about Florida State staff as currently comprised, and that affects their chances with recruits, in finding a way to connect to kids that they're recruiting. I'm not a recruit, Nick. I don't know. I mean, I'll trust the people that tell me that, and that's almost all of them. That's like universally understood, right? That's not a matter of race or gender or website. Like all of them that cover recruiting, when they list the reasons that Florida State could have some problems connecting to recruits, what I just said is exactly what they say. So that's not just me floating out an opinion and just willy-nilly. A lot of people are concerned with that. So how do you get younger? Well, Rick retires, quote unquote. Bill Miller retires, quote unquote. Maybe you make a change forcibly with another guy, and the next thing you know, 3 guys are out of here. All right. That's how that works.
That's called the old Tallahassee Shuffle.
That's what we do. A little 3-card Monte.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Nothing quite beats authentic Italian food and a Pepsi. Indulge your taste buds and experience all the flavor of Italy right here in Tallahassee. Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
The secret to better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Super Lube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The secret to even better gas mileage? Fuel Joules, a gas tank additive that'll increase your MPG by as much as 7%. And today, when you change your oil at Super Lube, you get a free bottle of Fuel Joules. Crystal Matthews and Amber Cossack own Solid Start, the company that makes Fuel Joules.
Every time we sell a bottle of Fuel Joules, a donation will be made to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lubes. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
97.9 ESPN Radio would like to congratulate North Florida Christian's Alicia Price, October's female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month. Alicia Price is a senior at North Florida Christian High, a 3-sport athlete who maintains a GPA of 4.2, good enough for 4th highest in her class. She was selected to the 2016 second team All-Big Bend volleyball squad, where she's a setter that also leads the team in serving aces with 71, an average of 4 per game. Alicia's helped lead NFC to a perfect 18-0 record on the volleyball court this season. As the October female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, North Florida Christian's Alicia Price is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 end-of-the-year scholarship. Check out all of the Athlete of the Month winners by visiting our website, espntallahassee.com, and to help support the folks at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. BuickGMCCadillac.com.
Right now, the Home Depot has select special order Andersen windows and patio doors for 15% off. If you've been waiting for just the right time to upgrade, you're in luck. You're also in good company. J.D. Power has recognized Andersen for outstanding customer satisfaction with windows and patio doors. So stop waiting and start saving. Select Andersen windows and patio doors 15% off now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through October 11th. See store for details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. The Nationals' Steven Strasburg will start a must-win against the Cubs in the NLDS today. Yesterday, manager Dusty Baker said it would be Tanner Roark because Strasburg was feeling under the weather. Strasburg today went to Baker, said he was feeling much better. Then it's the Indians and Yankees in a winner-take-all Game 5 of the ALDS, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. Corey Kluber and CC Sabathia. All pitchers will be on short leashes tonight, according to Indians play-by-play announcer Tom Hamilton.
Both these ball clubs now will empty their bullpens tonight. We know that. So anybody that's showing any kind of signs of trouble early, you're not going to see anyone hesitate to go to their bullpen. And this is one of those ball games with these two bullpens. You just can't afford to be playing catch-up baseball.
Tom Hamilton on the Baseball Tonight podcast. John Farrell out as Red Sox manager. GM Dave Dombrowski says the organization needs a change. NFL Giants will suspend corner Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie after he came in today, decided to leave. No other details yet known.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man, it makes me sad when I hear this song now. Yeah, it's been a rough couple months. By the way, just for those that haven't seen it, the Tom Petty documentary done by Bogdanovich, it came out a long time ago. Well, not that long ago, a little while ago on Netflix. It's like 3 hours long, so it's an investment. You probably watch it in parts. It's fantastic. It's really, really, it's worth your time. If you like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, you'd like the documentary. It's well done, smart.
I like documentaries. I'm the guy who I always appreciate and like documentaries, but it takes me a little bit of effort to sit down and watch and start the documentary.
Yeah.
But then once I do, I'm glad I did. But, yeah, I will. I'll put that on the list. It's kind of like when I
got a list, too.
The
I'm
Ken
like
Burns
Jericho.
list.
I got lists everywhere, buddy.
The Ken Burns list. I got to run, down the entirety of Ken Burns and what he does.
It's going to take you some time to finish the Vietnam one.
Yeah.
You haven't watched that, have you?
I saw, like I said, about 45 minutes to episode 2.
You know what you need to do? Just do a thing like non-football season maybe or during the holidays or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Sunday night, I'm getting started with this, and I'm finishing next Tuesday. This is every night at 8 o'clock, hun. We're sitting down. We're pouring a glass of wine or whatever, scotch, whatever it might be. We're going to watch this damn documentary because I need to see it.
Whipping up the Margaritaville.
Whatever you need to do.
There it is.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Vietnam documentary, which I have seen, I think I don't think you're going to margaritas there. I think you're going scotch there.
Well, I just, I decided to say something ridiculous.
Well, you also, because I've wanted one of those things for a long time.
Right.
You're needling me. I got you.
It wasn't a needle per se.
It's a little bit of a needle. It's a little bit of a needle.
I could bring it to the office and it could just be here. Would you prefer that?
That's too dangerous. I mean, we're not allowed to drink on the air.
Well, of course not.
No, I don't want to be tempted like that. I've been a good soldier lately. I just go home, go to bed.
I have one Margaritaville at noon and everybody's okay by showtime.
We got, can't do it. Hey, cue up our goodness here, the Beer 30 action.
Can 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
Yeah, the thing about Beer 30 is that we're wildly inconsistent. Sometimes we give you a little Beer 30 at 4:15. Sometimes it's 4:37. Sometimes it's 4:44. Sometimes it's 5:02. I don't know. Just never know.
Well, in truth, Beer 30 is more of a state of mind.
That's correct.
When do you need
Boom.
one? So,
boom. Yeah, nailed it right there. Hey, guess what? It is kind of the final half hour-ish of the workday, so the perfect time for Beer 30, again, presented by our friends at the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway. State Worker Wednesday tonight, kids. Yeah, a little State Worker Wednesday action. Happy hour all night for state workers, and it includes teachers. For non-state, teachers always need a drink. For non-state workers, don't forget your cup. Bring your cup. You say, well, I'm not a state worker, but I got my cup. It's like the chip.
That's right. The happy hour extends to you from 7 to close, and so that means it's happy hour for you all night, essentially. Well, it's not quite happy hour; it's $1 off all drafts. But I mean, come on, what are we doing here? You get $1 off a pint of beer.
That's true.
That makes for many happy hours.
At Jay Cameron Show, Eric writes: 1, barring Tommy John surgery for $175 million, you have to start. 2, Jimbo better grow blank pertaining to his staff. Well, yeah, Eric. Here's the thing about this. Again, I think we keep running into the same roadblocks. He may have already decided to fire 6 people for all we know. I mean, he could have, in private, sat down after last game and said, that's it. I have been betrayed. These bums are screwing me. My reputation is at stake. I can't stand all this losing. I'm firing these sorry asses as soon as the year is over.
Not enough. Need a lot of work. Need to get a lot better.
He could. Now, that was fictitious, and I made all of that up, and I don't think that's what he did. But he could have. He could have, and we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know, and he's not going to tell you. Nor should he. It's not professional. Doesn't need to tell you. So all we can do is wait. This is just a big waiting game. There is nowhere else to turn. You can say it every week, and people are going to say it every week, and believe me, they're going to say it more frequently and louder if more losses begin to mount. But in the meantime, he's just not going to tell you that. He's not. And he's certainly not going to tell me that. And so, I mean, we're just kind of stuck in wait-and-see mode. You don't fire – I don't think – short of somebody committing a freaking crime or doing something that absolutely humiliates the university and the program, like that kind of egregious transgression that there is no avoiding.
Like sniffing powder off of your desk saying, I'm about to go into a meeting, something on that level.
Right.
And videotaping it.
Yes. I finally heard the audio. So, yesterday on the show, I told everybody that I had not heard the audio. I had just seen the video of the Dolphins offensive line coach sniffing cocaine. Stop calling it what? He's sniffing cocaine. Anyhow, so he's sniffing cocaine and talking to the camera. And I had not heard the audio. But then I got a bunch of texts, and then people were tweeting at us. I didn't see till after the show. They were saying, oh, you need to listen to the audio. There's some goodness in there. Yeah, that's I don't think he's going to get to fulfill his dream, the latter part of that video.
Oh,
I don't think
God.
that's going to happen now that he's been outed. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think
That
so.
wish shall not come true, Tom.
No. If that's your wish, you've fallen, man. You've fallen from some high places, and now you're in some pretty low places. It's sad.
There's so many ways to go with that. I mean, that's a tough one. I was thinking, so that she's out of Vegas, the model?
That's correct.
So you've been to Vegas more than once?
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely 2 times.
So beautiful women that look just like her. And she's, to me, stunning. She's beautiful.
I've yet to see a photo of her.
I'll show you during the break. She's very, very pretty.
Okay.
Anyhow, so the point is, those kinds of women, beautiful as they are, lurk, for lack of a better word, at casino after casino and hotel and after hotel, and they have an agenda. And you know that when you go to Las Vegas, that you know what? It's not your animal magnetism that's doing the trick there. There's a something else going on there. It's not that they just can't help themselves and they're going to go over there and talk to a total stranger at 1 o'clock in the morning while you sit at the bar ordering another drink or you're gambling. If in your life that's never happened before, that you've been anywhere else in the world and women haven't just thrown themselves at you, I'm sure it's different for Brad Pitt or somebody like that. Maybe Denzel Washington has had it happen. There are a few guys out there where maybe that sort of thing happens.
Danny DeVito.
Like, if George Clooney's chilling at a bar somewhere in L.A. or Vegas or anywhere else, it might happen that women proposition him in that way, and they cannot help themselves. They just flock to him. But
Danny, I loved you in Renaissance, man.
And Twins. But, so, the idea that never, ever happens, and you know that because that's not how the world works. It's unfair. Hey, learn to live with it. Wear a helmet, whatever. That's what happens. Then you go to Vegas, and you're him looking like he looks, and she rolls up on you, and you have yourself a night. And you think, well, what's the crazy luck of that, man? I'll tell you what. She just couldn't help herself. Here I was at the bar, and the next thing I knew, just throwing it. Man,
for the small sum of $800?
Wake up, dude. What are you doing?
Cocaine.
Well, even then, I'm saying, you know how you pre-plan before you go out, you and your friends? I'm not talking about anything over the top like what we see in that video, folks. No, I'm not saying that. Just in general, when you're young, and he's not, but when you're young and you go out and you know you're about to have a good time, and people may split up, and they may be doing their own thing. Everybody's doing their own thing. They're fishing. They're looking. They're happening. So, hey, we're getting ready to leave, Tom. Has anybody seen Jerry? Well, he was talking to this girl at the bar earlier. Oh, well, somebody let him know we're going. Make sure he's cool. I'm leaving. And that's fine. He can stay. Okay, so you have a game plan so that nobody gets left behind. You have a game plan so nobody gets hurt. You have a game plan so nobody gets left in the lurch. You have a game plan before you go. Again, if you're married, the situation's very different, and I guess he is married, but you have a game plan before you step foot wherever he stepped foot into.
I don't think he's looking to have a game plan. I don't think he was. I think he was looking for the depths.
Well,
so he found the depths.
Obviously he was looking for the depths, but he seemed to indicate in that video that there was some sort of relationship. And what I'm saying is, my man, that's not a relationship.
It's cocaine.
You don't have a relationship. She's not like, no, this is not what you think it is.
It's the same kind of relationship you have with
cocaine.
Yeah. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, dearly. In some cases with your life.
It may cost you your job.
At Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. Here's an effort and professionalism, a segue that you don't try at the house. Writes David, any chance Charles Kelly could go back to the secondary and special teams? No, I don't think so.
He was linebackers, I think. I'm pretty sure he's secondary now, is he not? I think he was linebackers and special teams. I think.
Was that what so I've been, So that in special teams, okay. No, I don't think you can. I think that's a tricky deal. Not at $1 million or whatever.
Rework a contract to take it, take him down.
It's really weird because then also remember you're going to be hiring somebody else to come in, and how's that relationship going to work?
Well, how are the players that are holding over from year to year going to respect the coach?
Right. That's dicey. I don't think so, David. I think that'd be kind of odd.
What are you going to talk back to me? Well, you got moved from starting linebacker to special teams.
What are you going to do about it,
So
man?
you and I are on the same level, player one.
Yeah, no, that's a toughie. I don't think that's going to happen. So, no, I don't think that's a possibility. Just like I don't think it's a possibility that all these changes people want are going to happen in season. So, I'll just try to find more stories about dudes doing cocaine thinking they're in a relationship. My man's talking to that thing like they can't wait to get back. She doesn't care about you.
It's very uncomfortable. The more I think about it, it's just creepy. It's borderline creepy.
But the video? The video is weird, yeah.
Because that means that he's exactly the same way
right
when he's in Nevada.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Oh, there's a whole world. That's the underworld, man.
Well,
People live out there like
I know, but it's just when you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. But also you want to intervene. You want to jump in and go, my man, you're going to cost yourself everything. It's
Don't
over.
press sand.
Yeah, don't do it. This is not going to work out for you, I promise.
How do you think Herm Edwards would have reacted if he opened the door?
He's mortified.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Are you aware of the new OSHA silica dust regulations that went into effect September 23rd? Are you prepared with the correct solutions to make your employees and your company compliant? DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool & Fastener have a full line of OSHA compliant solutions ranging from tools to accessories and shrouds and even dust extractors. OSHA rules intend to limit workers' exposure to breathable crystalline silica. DeWalt and Cornerstone are your first line of defense with the solutions you need. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. Thirsty? They have the Lucky Sevens, $7 domestic pitchers after 7 p.m., 7 days a week, $7.95. Daily specials. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill. 3 locations to choose from: 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knolls to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knolls. License number CAC 057652.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep. Easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E+ from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
At the Home Depot, we know communities are more than bricks and mortar. They're people, and we're part of your community too. So in the wake of Hurricane Irma, we're here to help. We have essential items in the front of the store, making it easy for you to get what you need, quickly. We're doing our best to keep those supplies in stock. And of course, we're maintaining the same everyday low prices. Because when our community needs us, the Home Depot is here to help.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Balls McWednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, sometimes your busy life gets in the way and you do miss something, and you want to have a way to go back and get caught up. Well, you can. All 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Upon the conclusion of the show, you can always email us, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, the WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And we're on YouTube as well, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, there's a lot of ways to get caught up with the show.
Tons of ways.
Or to watch it live.
Yeah,
enjoy
crazy.
it live.
Or just listen to it driving down the road live on the old school radio. Maybe even, you think there's anybody out there listening to this program on a transistor radio, holding it in their hand, pulling out the antenna?
I got me an old transistor radio.
I miss my boom box that I had back in the day, man, in 85, 86, right around the time that the U.S. last didn't qualify for the World Cup. I had a really, really big, sizable, old school, like break dancing, hold on your shoulder sort of boombox that was outstanding. And I could put my band stickers on it. I could do all those things because it was a representation.
The boombox was a big deal even when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't until digital music and all that other stuff happened at the boombox. Yeah, it was.
iPods didn't really come out until closer to the end of high school, college for me, that they were really something that you could put a ton of stuff on. They had the little switch or whatever it was.
Yeah,
in the
remember
beginning.
the little, even those look like weird now. They're little tiny iPods.
Yeah. Well, they got smaller.
Mini pod. Yeah.
Everything wanted to be smaller
Remember
forever
the
and
big
a day.
ones with the circular thing?
Oh, yeah.
Put
That's
your thumb on there, yeah.
That's the one I had, the one with the wheel.
Yeah,
the white, it didn't
I love
have
the wheel.
It didn't have the color screen yet.
It's kind of tan,
but
it had a gray screen.
Yeah, it had 40 gigs,
Mm.
at which, I mean, at the time, that's still, not small, but it was huge at the time. And I had that stolen from me at a college party.
Sons
Shaky.
of bitches.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very common practice. The stealing of things from college parties is an age-old theme.
Well, sure.
I had CDs go missing from friends who, I've always wanted to hear this album. And then you're like, no, man, that's not one you can take. I'll burn that one for you.
But
the
boom box was freedom. Because
yes,
I would take that boom box and I would put it halfway up the driveway. I had a decently long driveway to my house growing up. And then I put the hockey net out there, and I put the skates on.
You, buddy, there it is. So we were having a very similar experience in childhood. I would shoot hoops out in the driveway all for hours on end and hope that my next-door neighbor, I was just going to say her name, but she's still alive, so I imagine that would maybe be upsetting if somehow I don't know. But anyhow, there was a girl that lived next door that was gorgeous, but she was 2 years older than me. And I would always want her to come outside and talk, which she sometimes did. And we would talk about our lives and about music and about school and all this stuff. And I would try to work up the courage, especially like in middle school, try to work up the courage to give her a kiss. That was what I was doing.
Well, that's middle school.
To the boombox.
And I'm sure you looked awkward, just like every other middle schooler.
I can't imagine looking at me now. Like, I don't look forward to my kids doing this same thing, which they most certainly, they won't do something similar because times have changed and people aren't hanging out in the driveway shooting hoops with a boombox while they try to impress the neighbor girl.
I mean, the weird phase, we haven't fixed that with technology
no,
yet. So.
There's no fixing that.
No,
your teeth and your body is awkward, everything about it.
It's the crosshairs, man. It's
you don't
coming.
know really what you're doing. You got no clue, but you think you know everything.
Voice
it's all
is cracking.
Very, very terrible, yeah. You're just a doofus. Just a big doofus. And there's no way around it. But you don't know that. And maybe you do a little bit, so there's angst there. It's all that. It's really strange.
There's something that stands out to you when you reflect on maybe the doofus period or even the high school period where you say, man, why did I even like that? Why was that a hobby of mine? That was really just, either emblematic of the times or something.
Well, tons of things from that were emblematic of the times, like skinny ties with the rope tie and stuff like that. I would wear those.
You wore the
the
rope ties?
Yeah, that was a big to-do with the little, like the Western.
Really?
Yeah. Those were very popular.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, well, you kind of did it if you were trying to be alternative cool for a short time. Well, hell, Tom, there's a picture of me wearing, I think, suspenders with like a Coca-Cola sweater. I mean, sweet Jesus.
What?
There's nothing more embarrassing in the world. I was like a member of Wham at that point.
No,
it's ridiculous.
When I the end of one of the seasons, it was probably 2003, I want to say. Lightning season ticket holders could get a picture with a player of their choice, and they could just keep it.
Right.
And so my parents said, go ahead, you pick your favorite, and you can get the photo with him. We're not really interested, but, these guys, you look up to them. So I got a picture with Nikolai Khabibulin, the goaltender.
Very cool, yeah.
And Nick was really nice, but that picture is forever ruined.
Because you were wearing something ridiculous?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm just in that awkward phase,
Yeah,
so I look
it's a
ridiculous.
toughie. You don't want to show it to everybody. Yeah.
I have actually a nice Old Navy long sleeve burgundy shirt on. It's a nice looking shirt, but then I have the shell necklace. Like oh my god,
that's awesome.
Not the big,
You got the shell necklace.
Yeah, like yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
well, we all have our moments, man. Yeah. Slaves to fashion at the time. If you're ever beholden to a current fashion, you are going to end up taking pictures that look ridiculous. So really, it's best just to figure out your own thing and kind of stick with it and be you. But you try to tell your kids that, or you just try to, when you finally figure that out and you're your own guy, it's too late. You already had 10 years in there where you just did a bunch of dumb stuff.
Oh, yeah. I got one friend, he's now living in St. Pete, and he'll even admit to it. He's gone through all the phases, like all of them since undergrad, maybe even in high school a little bit. But when there is a phase and a fad,
he's all in.
Dude,
like rope belts.
But now, now he's found his niche, and that is to be
hippie,
sort of.
Yeah.
Like
that
the
never goes
modern
out of
day
style.
hipster.
Yeah.
Really? In St. Pete. Well, no, he plays shuffleboard. And,
I like to play
shuffleboard.
I grew up playing shuffleboard, and I like craft brews. That really shouldn't go out of style ever. I will try to sustain that sort of fun.
Like the hipster slicked hair and that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, that's different. I don't have to worry about that. But, there's quite a few of those. Well, those aren't major regrets. The things that I look back on now, certain conversations that I had, certain things I said where you can't take the words back, and you're like, I was really insensitive. Why did I do that? In an effort to be cool, I said this thing. Why did I say this thing? That's ridiculous. Those are the things that you regret.
You pick your own style. I really liked it when it emerged in high school, which was jeans and a hoodie guy. Jeans and a hoodie guy.
That
guy doesn't go away.
No, that's always all right.
Jeans and a hoodie guy is solid. If you're
jeans and a T-shirt is always all right. Boys are so much easier than girls. So much easier. I mean, you can take your kids, throw on some old faded Levi's and a T-shirt. You're good forever.
Right.
Girls are going to fight about the latest thing, and they got their clicks, and they got to have name brand and all that nonsense.
So if you went to a function, for Christy, and then you had to, shake hands with other people, and you had to be nice and that kind of stuff. Nobody likes doing that. But if you run into jeans and a hoodie guy or jeans and a T-shirt guy,
he's probably all right.
Okay, we can deal here.
All right. Yeah,
I think I'll be all right.
Dude's probably okay. Yeah, unless it's wildly inappropriate to be in jeans and a T-shirt at this said event. If this is an event where you need to be
like
dressed
a barbecue
up,
or something,
right? Yeah, that's better. That's better.
I'm not saying you're going to some sort of party for, I don't know, Tallahassee downtown or something. And it's Christmas.
All right, nothing new happened at Florida State. You could probably tell. They're going to play against Duke on Saturday at noon. And until they do, there's really nothing else to say, save for an injury report and, perhaps speculation on how well they will or will not play. In other words, do they show up? Do they care to play? Is there still fire inside? All that stuff that you begin to speculate about when a team is 1-3. As far as beating the coaches up and wanting guys fired, it's been said, been done, been talked about. Don't know what else to do, but wait and see these games play out to get a better idea of just who should be asked to have a good day. I'm getting a minute-by-minute email, tweet, or reach out from people all around this town saying, what do you think? Are they going to fire Kelly? Are they going to fire this guy? Are they gonna... Well, yeah, we won't know to the end of the season. Do I think changes are going to be made? I do. Is it going to be talked about openly by the head coach? Nope. The thing that Tom and I began to vet last hour, some that I do think is interesting in the first hour, was what would happen if you lose to Duke? And obviously the answer to that is nothing. Nothing other than your record would change to represent the season going even further in the depths of hell. But the point is, nothing's going to change on the lines, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. We've never lost to Duke.
Well, yeah, if you lose to Duke, then you really look at the bowl streak and you say, I'm not so sure about this anymore.
Well, if you lose to Duke, I don't think you're going to a bowl. So in addition to that, if you lose to Duke, then anything's on the table. I think that's actually the answer. What changes? The floor. That's what changes. What's possible, the depth to which you can sink, that changes. Then all of a sudden you entertain the idea of a Florida-like season, that 4-8 year. And, we talked about this. I mean, one of the joys of the Florida 4-8 year is that can never happen. That's completely absurd that it happened at a school like that with their money, their investment, their resources, their fan base, their alumni, their talent. You can't go 4-8. So when that happened, we obviously reminded them of it hourly. We still remind them of it. Florida State's not going 4-7 because they don't have enough games, and let's say they make it up. I guess they could go. That's not going to happen. You lose to Duke, I'll entertain the idea that it could happen, because then not only are you, let's say, if the person that was holding out hope that this record is currently the byproduct of playing three really good teams with three good defenses and having a true freshman quarterback and having weather and all these other things play a role, you'd have to dismiss that entirely. You'd have to say something much greater is going on than a set of circumstances that were unfortunate. Like you'd have to completely dismiss that idea at that point.
Outside of a 5-6 turnover game or something crazy like that, to me, if you lose to Duke, then effort might be in question after this weekend. But it's not in question to this point. And in that sense, as crazy as it sounds, and believe me, in the first hour I got done saying this season's a failure no matter what you do. You could run the table, it's still a failure because you have expectations and you're not living up to them. But in a weird way, I kind of like the group. I like this team because they try.
They fight. Yeah.
They fight. They care. They try. There have been teams in the recent past, even one that might have been in the midst of a 29-in-a-row run, that didn't always try. I think this group it's just being failed. It's not as prepared, and the details aren't as sound. So, in spite of that, they're still a couple of plays away from winning a couple of games.
Oh,
no. I'm not the apologist in that sense.
I know, but you step on that line, you get up close to that. Well,
I'm not congratulating them for
a little bounce here, bounce there.
I'm not congratulating them for an effort. You don't hold a parade for somebody for doing what they should do, but it should be noted. When last year we got to a point where you're questioning effort, and in 2014 you're questioning intensity and effort after being crowned champions in 2013. This team isn't doing that. Could it change on Saturday? Absolutely, it could change. But in a weird way, I kind of like this group. They're a lovable bunch.
Well,
that's why I think
they're going to win Saturday. They haven't mailed it in. That I can tell. So your concern about the actual game, and we are. It's Wednesday. You start to turn the corner now. We've had all the discussions about what just happened and the disappointment of losing to Miami and ending the streak and what coaches and what. Now you do turn your attention to the games this week and you begin to shift your outlook. And one thing you would say about the Duke game, if there's a legitimate concern, first of all, they're 4-2, they're well coached, they got a good quarterback. Well, he's actually having a down year. He was the guy that a lot of people were excited about coming into the season, but he's not playing well right now. That said, there's enough at Duke that you would at least scratch the surface of concern, right? And you would say this about that. If effort's not going to be your problem, Tom, health could. And that is an area where I am intrigued. I mean, you've got a team right now that, no doubt about it, on the offensive side of the ball is kind of the walking wounded. I mean, Landon Dickerson is playing really hurt. And there are moments in games where he simply cannot move to pick up stunts and to be able to make the block necessary in pass pro. You saw that more than once in this game against Miami.
Came out of the game.
Yeah, so he's having an injury situation that affects his play. Thus, it affects the game. And, the timing in the passing game and the quarterback's ability to let plays develop and all that other stuff. Okay, so there's something. Your best player on offense, well, at least for now, until Cam Akers proves without a shadow of a doubt that he is Auden Tate, and he's playing with one arm. I mean, literally, the guy is in agony to the point where an official forces him off the field, which I didn't think was a rule, by the way. What in the world is that? If my shoulder has exploded but I can run and I can move, and I tell you I don't want to come off the field. You can't make me come off the field. What the hell is that nonsense? Anyhow.
It's not concussion protocol.
No, that seemed a little silly to me. But, okay, he's that hurt that an official's like, well, sweet Jesus, son, get off the field.
Mercy, William.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Yeah. So, okay, but he's performing in the limited time that he's on the field because he's got heart and guts and toughness. And, oh, by the way, he knows how to run routes. That's nice. He's dependable, for lack of a better term. But he's hurt, and you're one hit away from that guy missing the rest of the game. What if that hit happens in the first quarter? Who are you depending on at wide receiver in this game if Auden Tate goes out? Because Keith Gavin's hurt. We don't think he's going to play. So now I got to depend on a couple of guys that I don't know that I can depend on. Let's just put it that way. All right, 2 guys I don't think I can depend on. One that is just so hit and miss, I never have an idea what the hell I'm going to get from him. And now I'd have to turn to perhaps at least 1 freshman, maybe 2, in Terry and Matthews. Izzo's probably going to be kept into block a lot, as he has been most of this year. So he's not always the receiving weapon that you'd like him to be within this offense currently. So I guess my point would be that injury concerns begin to mount. Psyche isn't an issue. Want to isn't an issue. Injury might be an issue going on the road to Duke. Again, I don't think it's enough of an issue to see them lose on Saturday. I think you can line up, run the ball downhill, use your strength, your size, your athletes to batter Duke, and you'll eventually pull away. You've got a stable running backs that are really, really, really talented. Go to them, let them win the game, throw off a play action. You got enough there.
You got to do what you got to do to win the game and call the game to your talent. But at the same time, seeing as you're 1-3, I'd like to see the offense turn loose a little bit earlier in the game because it looks like James Blackman's ready to at least handle something. I get it. He makes throws in the first half that help us get down the field as we're controlling time of possession, field position, and then the scoreboard sort of.
Yeah, but he's not challenging them.
3-0 lead.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it was in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. It's not the same kind of trust level. That was out of necessity this past weekend, but it looks like the kid's ready to handle a little bit more.
The throw to Izzo changes things because that's an anticipatory throw. It's one that you have to make a good throw, and it's not just somebody wide open running because of busted coverage. It's a thread the needle in the red zone. The area you have to throw in is awfully tight, and he hits a window, and he does so, like I said, anticipatory. It's a nice play.
Well, and I agree, if you want to focus on one thing over the other, then it should be run, then pass, not pass, then run.
Sure.
But he's got to develop too. You have to go into development mode at some point as well. The good thing is even though the offensive line performed awfully against Wake Forest, and it was mediocre to okay against a really good front seven for Miami this past weekend. With
run blocking, they were very good.
With Landon Dickerson being hurt. They've been able to run the ball both weeks. They've been able to get big chunks. You know?
Well, that's your identity, Tom. That's your identity right there.
We were looking for it.
Line up and run the damn ball. That's your identity. Out-muscle people. Beat people up. You've got a ton of running backs, all that have talent, 3 of which I think are really strong, will run guys, wear guys down over time.
And a potential superstar.
Also, just can we throw it out there that there was an actual zone read run correctly by the quarterback in which the quarterback kept the football and gained yardage?
And then slid.
I mean, everything about it was actually executed the way that other teams execute that play on a consistent basis, and we never, ever, ever do. I know it's lost in the loss, but that happened.
Boy, if ever did it one time, we would have beaten Georgia Tech.
I actually watched that play again when I went and rewatched the game and then watched it again, and right before I moved on, I went back and watched it again. Because I just have never seen us do it. Ever. Not even once. And I went, holy, look at this. This is exactly as it's taught.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Hair of the dog is human friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football? Hair of the Dog Sports Bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town. Sexy French poodles welcome.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
If you've been suffering from a chronic illness and prescription drugs aren't working, it's time to seek alternative treatment. Dr. Joe Dorn provides evaluations and ordering of natural products for patients who qualify under the new Amendment 2 law. To make an appointment with Dr. Dorn or for a free e-visit, go to mmtcfl.com. That's mmtcfl.com. Visit Dr. Dorn at our Tallahassee MMT Clinic on Capitol Circle Northeast, next to the Cake Shop. It's time to stop suffering and seek affordable and compassionate care.
Are you aware of the new OSHA silica dust regulations that went into effect September 23rd? Are you prepared with the correct solutions to make your employees and your company compliant? DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener have a full line of OSHA compliant solutions ranging from tools to accessories and shrouds and even dust extractors. OSHA rules intend to limit workers' exposure to breathable crystalline silica. DeWalt and Cornerstone are your first line of defense with the solutions you need. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for $21.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and save money with 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard filter for $21.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com.
Jeff Cameron, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Give me that line on sniffles. Strasburg's out there dealing with the sniffles.
Yeah, Strasburg has completed 3 innings, scattering 1 hit, allowing 1 walk, struck out 5, no runs. Nothing across for the Cubs. 1-0 Washington through 3.
Good decision, Steven, to step up, take your $170 million, wipe away the drizzle from the nose, suck it up, find a way to get some outs in a pretty important baseball game. It'll do wonders for your reputation moving forward if this continues.
Yeah, I closed the window, but I think I saw 49 pitches through 3 innings, so a moderate pitch count, and he's on regular rest, so he should be able to go deep into the day if the sniffles don't get the best of him.
Say he's got a little bit of the sniffles, Tom. We'll see. This is heroic what we're seeing right now, overcoming the sniffles. It's 1-0, Nats. So we'll see. How big an ass must John Farrell be? I was thinking about that last night, or this morning. He must be a world-class ass, like the kind of guy that is universally loathed. I mean, the man has been the manager of the Red Sox as they win American League East titles each of the last 2 years, and a World Series before that. I really don't know what else you can do to at least find job security. Winning a World Series and AL East titles, and yet you get fired, and John Henry says they would have fired him no matter what happened.
Really? I did not see that part of the quote. That's
so
crazy.
No level of success would have changed his mind, is what he said, about firing Farrell. So they could have won, in theory, the World Series, which would have been his second to go along with a couple of titles in the division, and he still would have been fired. That tells me you have to be the worst.
Boy, that's crazy, too, because if you remember how the whole John Farrell Boston thing started, I mean, they doted over him from afar. It was known that they would be poaching him and that he would replace Tito. I find that interesting.
You weigh a lot of different things to come into play. You watch day in, day out over a season. You come up with a decision based upon that. And for me, at this point, sometimes change is just better. That's why we've decided to move forward with that change, quote, unquote. Dombrowski makes the decision ultimately, and he said that in a news conference. But I think it's fascinating to hear people say about a guy who just, guided them to a division championship. Now, listen, their pitchers gave up 16 runs. One thing about baseball that's awfully cruel is if Chris Sale, who you go out and get in the offseason, is going to be a guy that carries you to the playoffs and strike out half the free world and dominate in a way that at points of the season that are historical, if he's going to go out and get his what's lit, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You could be the greatest manager of all time if my man goes out there and gets
You're saying if he's like Roark?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Roark got knocked out in the 3rd inning.
Roark's been getting his
Yeah, he really has.
Right. That's the problem with baseball to some extent, is that, well, to a big extent, if your ace sucks in the postseason, thanks for playing. And that hurts. Just like it hurts, this is the cruelty of baseball, and it's why you just don't know when you get to the postseason. You could be the best regular season team in all of baseball. You play 162 games, holds a mirror up to you, and lets you know what you are. You can very well be the best team in baseball over those 162 games, and it can be inarguable. The Dodgers, for example. You lose in the postseason because a guy has a bad start and somebody else's 3-starter begins to shove. That just sucks, man. It's just hard. It's an aspect of baseball that is terribly cruel.
They won't, or he shouldn't be mad at me because they won a World Series. But it's like, I remember when we first were talking, I guess it would have been the 2010
when the Phillies put together that staff?
When they put together the big three. I mean,
oh my God, who's going to beat them?
And the Giants did. And I picked the Giants to win that series because they could match the pitching. At that point, it comes down to a blooper here or there.
Yeah, just anything, yeah.
And that's unfair because you almost feel like
sucks. It's brutal.
You almost feel like it should be like American Gladiators in the final when they do the eliminator and you get like a 15-second head start. They should get a game head start in the series because of how well they
We've
played
earned it over the course of time.
It's like, I got a strike here, man. No pun intended.
We always use the example of the sorry-ass 83-win Cardinals winning the World Series, and you're like, well, okay.
Here's the best of 5, but I start up 1-0. Let's play game 2, right? Is our first game that we actually
Sucks you
play.
lost that first one.
Yeah.
By the way, Dombrowski today saying perhaps out of respect for Farrell, didn't think it was appropriate to cite specific reasons. The 55-year-old Farrell, who guided the Red Sox to the World Series championship in 2013, was the pitching coach for the 07 team, who also won a title. I mean, the guy's done nothing but kick ass in Boston. That's what he's done. Like, his resume is a whole lot of kicking ass in Boston. And guess what? He was gone no matter what happened.
John Farrell for Mets manager. We need an a-hole. We need an a-hole who wins.
Here's what you don't need. Bostonians will say his big problem is that he mismanages the pitching staff. And, you know.
Well, isn't that every fan base's complaint about every manager ever? Bullpen, pitching staff, mismanagement?
I think the bigger issue has to be that, Boston didn't hit for power all year long. They just didn't. So they didn't have a game-changing bat in the lineup. And then, moreover, I would dismiss the whole staff thing. They apparently in the clubhouse there was real problems. The guys don't like him. That seems to make much more sense when you fire a guy after winning a division title, right? Like if you win as much as that guy has won, the only reason you fire that guy is if the players hate that guy.
Well, and to return to here for just a moment, that's the number one thing I want to see and hear, because the whispers, if they exist, they'll make their way to you mostly, but they'll make their way around town, with the football program. What do these next 2 months look like? And if people know in uncertain terms, if people kind of understand that maybe they might not be back next year, what does the locker room look like? And this has not been a team like 2016 that gave up. You haven't seen it yet. But if you continue to lose games that matter to you, say Louisville, Clemson, Florida, whatever.
Well, Florida's the last game of the year.
Well, if you lose that, you might not be bowl eligible, and that might be it. And you do an exit interviews until they have to do their voluntary workouts the next year.
Yeah.
Or spring practice. But that's what I want to know. The infighting thing, that's another thing that Jimbo would have to consider when making changes. Because there might be a coach who's doing his job, but if there's infighting, then what the hell good is it?
Well, then you look at yourself about what is it I'm not doing to connect or not connect with my players. That would be a terrible thing.
Not trying to start anything, but when you're 1-3, you wonder.
Well, that was the discussion and talking point from a year ago. So, gosh, I certainly hope that doesn't happen. It's a weird thing if it does happen. It's a weird dynamic if that happens. That means that the trust was broken. That's the only way it can happen. Like the ways those things happen, the only way those things happen is if there's a player in the locker room who's stealing from everybody and you find out about it as a staff and you don't kick him off the team. You keep that guy around. Players then see that and they go, whoa. We're going to compromise all principles and all that's decent because that guy can play a little bit and he's stealing from us. That's not good. Then they would turn on the coaching staff. Or a coach plays favorites in general. Then you would lose them. You'd have to think of something where just trust is being shattered. And I've not heard of anything like that.
Well, no, they responded the Wake game was what it was, but they played hard in the Miami game throughout. And I just go back to that comment as a seed, and I don't know if it germinates. But when Ira was talking about...
down on the field after the NC State game. I think they felt, a little betrayed. Yeah, then that would influence coaching decisions at the end of the year, especially if they felt betrayed by a particular person who's not getting the job done. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Make that last play, we're unstoppable this season.
Yeah, you're doing great on the field this year, but how'd you do on your test today?
Well...
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics be your answer to helping your athlete balance their academics and athletics. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, introducing Nissan's Express Service. Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less, with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299. So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
October 11th, 1992. Deion Sanders made history by suiting up to play for both the NFL and MLB on the same day. After finishing Game 4 of the NLCS on Saturday night, Sanders flew to Miami for the Falcons game against the Dolphins. Although Atlanta would lose, he would fly back to Pittsburgh to suit up for Game 5 between the Braves and the Pirates.
The secret to better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Superlube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The secret to even better gas mileage? Fuel Joules, a gas tank additive that'll increase your MPG by as much as 7%. And today, when you change your oil at Superlube, you get a free bottle of Fuel Joules. Crystal Matthews and Amber Cossack own Solid Start, the company that makes Fuel Joules.
Every time we sell a bottle of Fuel Joules, a donation will be made to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Superlubes. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
97.9 ESPN Radio would like to congratulate North Florida Christian's Alicia Price, October's female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month. Alicia Price is a senior at North Florida Christian High, a 3-sport athlete who maintains a GPA of 4.2, good enough for 4th highest in her class. She was selected to the 2016 second team All-Big Bend volleyball squad, where she's a setter that also leads the team in serving aces with 71, an average of 4 per game. Alicia's helped lead NFC to a perfect 18-0 record on the volleyball court this season. As the October female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, North Florida Christian's Alicia Price is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 end-of-the-year scholarship. Check out all of the Athlete of the Month winners by visiting our website, espntallahassee.com, and to help support the folks at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. BuickGMCCadillac.com.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Good Lord. How bad is Alabama going to beat Arkansas? There have been some damn brutal beatdowns in the SEC. Alabama is just steady kicking teeth in that division and league that has fallen to pieces. Georgia's great, Alabama's great, and Auburn's pretty good. We done here?
Since it's Wednesday, October the 11th, 2017, Georgia-Alabama SEC title game, how do you handicap it? Alabama more than a touchdown favorite in that game?
It's a good game. Never like a freshman quarterback starting against Alabama's defense with the SEC championship on the line.
He won't be a freshman anymore.
Well, Fromm's a good player, but Georgia's good, man. It's fun to watch. Good for them. Good for Georgia. The uptick in what you expect to get out of a new coach and the infusion of life and enthusiasm, it's happened. It really is obviously pretty good for both parties. You think about Mark Richt and kind of a new lease on life in Miami, and while I don't like to see him succeed in Miami, I like Mark Richt. And I've always liked Mark Richt. Obviously, I thought it was probably time for Georgia and him to part ways. And, you know, you get to a place where after a while it could be difficult to overcome some of the frustrations in the seasons past. And so getting a new lease on life down in Miami, place where he played, you know, he's talked a lot about how he's reinvigorated. And I think you're seeing that. I mean, they're competently coached. He's winning some battles in recruiting. So Miami is unfortunately moving in the right direction. But I am happy for Mark. And then Georgia, anytime you bring in a new coach, you look around, we were looking at recruiting rankings recently on the show here today, and you talked about the recruiting ranking of, say, Oregon, number 5. Well, there's no reason for Oregon to have a top 5 ranking in recruiting currently. They haven't had the success to match it lately. They've been a dumpster fire. But new coach, and he's got a vision and a name, and he's got a message that he's preaching, and people are buying in. And if that happens, that affects the energy in a positive way, and kids begin to feel that on visits, and you get a chance to turn around the culture. That's happening. The key in those situations, just as Florida State did, just as Ohio State did with Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer did at Florida as well, and Nick did at Alabama, and Les did at LSU. Lots of these places is you got to get in there. You got to flip it quick. You got to send a new message, send it strong, get people to buy in all the way around, from the athletic department, you know, from the secretary to your assistant coaches to your players, and then you got to win a title. You got to make the run, because what you do see then is at some point it grows a little stale, and sustaining elite success and sustaining championship caliber teams is more difficult. It's why it's very impressive what Nick Saban's done over the course of his career. It's why it's very impressive what Krzyzewski does at Duke year in and year out. He's been there forever and a day. Lord knows he's an ass, and yet people play hard for him every night out, and they win a lot of games.
That's a little harsh.
But so the point would be, you know, you do see this uptick in production and success on the field when new coaches come into places with new ideas and new ways of doing things. And Georgia's experiencing that right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I'm bored with watching Florida's kind of impotent offense and sort of listless feel to them. I mean, week in and week out, they amass less than 300 yards of offense, and yet the East was so down, they're able to win it every year and mask terrible deficiencies. And I think Florida fans know that. I think if you're a Florida fan, the oddest thing that you have going right now is that your coach has been uber successful in the SEC, has won at a really, frankly, historic rate for being a new coach in that conference, and it's really the byproduct of beating up on bad teams in a crappy division. And you know that, because when you play good teams, you don't beat them. And so the problem with that is it's sort of a fool's gold approach, because you're winning enough games, but you're not really improving as a program, and there's not enough failure to demand change. So you're stuck with mediocrity. And so Georgia's now taking advantage of that, because nobody's really else has. Tennessee had their chance, but Butch failed.
And talking to my brother-in-law, who's a UGA alum, you know, when Easton goes out and then Fromm comes in, even in that limited exposure he had in the first week, I thought, oh, well, you can work with that.
Oh, he's a nice little player. They're not making him throw a lot either, by the way.
Right. No, they're not. No, but that's enough. It's enough to keep you honest, kind of a thing.
Well, Georgia's doing what I would like to do in maturing Blackman, because they're running the hell out of the football with talented running backs. and a good offensive line. And this offensive line in Tallahassee has been able to block and run blocking much better than in pass blocking, and there is a stable of running backs that are very good.
Well, in full marks, because you called it right as soon as it happened. That win over Notre Dame is a good win.
It was
for
a
Georgia.
good win because that's not a bad Notre Dame team.
Exactly right. Revisiting what that Notre Dame team is, because they tend to lose a couple of games, September, early October.
They're pretty good.
Oh, never mind about Notre Dame. Why are we always on Notre Dame? Just because they play a tough schedule, we have to prop them up. But Notre Dame's pretty good now. So that win for Georgia becomes all the more impressive. And, I was talking to him and I said, man, get used to smiling because I've seen this trend before.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are kind of a little bit ahead of schedule right now.
They attack on defense.
Right.
You see the uptick in recruiting.
Right.
And there's a beginning to feel that, hey, things are going on here at Georgia.
There's a feel that they've got their Jameis and Lemon committing to them on Friday, so just get ready to smile for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I agree, but I do think that's an interesting situation. So Fields says, yes, I'm going there, and yet you got this kid that they love and who's showing growth as a true freshman. Easton needs to transfer. They don't like him. Like, the players don't like him. And, so he needs to go find somewhere else to play because he's got talent. It'll be interesting to see where he transfers to because I don't think he's sticking around. By the way, Notre Dame, their only loss is a 1-point loss to Georgia, who now we know is really good, and that's why that was a great win for Georgia. Notre Dame is killing people by and large. 33-10 over North Carolina, 52-17 over Miami of Ohio. The Michigan State team that just beat Michigan, they beat by 20. They've been very good. 49-16 over Temple. So when they play bad teams, they destroy them, which is usually the mark of a pretty good team. They killed Boston College, who plays good defense. They beat them 49-20. It was never competitive. BC gets up for that game for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
49-20. That was at BC. So Notre Dame's done enough. Now, here's your problem if you're Notre Dame. Good. You're pretty good. Good luck with this. You play Southern Cal, NC State, Wake, Miami, Navy, and Stanford, none of which are bad teams.
Yeah, but how about the NC State Notre Dame game? That's a
What
game
a great
now.
game. What a great game. And it's a kind of a bona fide great ACC game, really, even though I know Notre Dame is all things ACC save for football. They might as well be. They play Wake, and they play Miami, and they play NC State, and they play North Carolina. They play Boston College. They play a lot of ACC teams. So, yeah, listen, Notre Dame, Southern Cal, 7:30 on the 21st is a great game. Then the following week it is NC State. The problem Notre Dame's going to have, despite this very good season that they're in the midst of, is how do you get up for all those games? They're also going to have problems physically.
Here's the thing for NC State. So this weekend they play Pitt at Pitt. Well, we've seen what Pitt is, right? So that's a win. You get a bye week. Then you travel to South Bend, play Notre Dame. Then you come back home for a Saturday, November 4th matchup with Clemson. That'll be
through the roof. That's an atmosphere I would really enjoy.
Right. What Clemson has to do
for all the peeing
is travel to NC State for that game. Then they're hosting us the next week. So an interesting, 2 to 3 weeks. If you count Notre Dame in the pseudo ACC conversation, that is a really interesting 3 weeks of ACC football
for NC State, Clemson, and Notre Dame and us. Listen, there's still time to get your act together and become a nuisance. That's really what we're playing for now, which is a sad set of circumstances. But the reality is, I'd like to become that nuisance. Can we please be the team that people are like, now, damn it, Florida State, can you please lie down? Don't you know you lost the only 3 games that you played against anybody that were any good and narrowly escaped defeat at the hands of Wake Forest? What are you doing playing well now?
Yeah, you talk about
trying to shatter our dreams.
The shoe being on the other foot. Listen to that conversation piece. That's ridiculous.
Waving the flag. Let's be a nuisance.
Right.
Let's be a nuisance.
Oh, well, hey, guys, we need to be careful with this Florida State team this weekend. Now, I know that they started 1-3, but that's a dangerous team. Yeah. How many times you heard that about NC State, you roll your eyes?
We're the team now, unfortunately, fulfilling a role of the coach's teleconference, press conference at the beginning of the week in which they say, I look at that film and I see a very good football team. I know they've had some trouble this year and the record doesn't show it, but I see that film and I tell my players, look out. It's a good football team. They can rise up and beat you any given day. If we don't play our best game on Saturday, Florida State could beat us. And sadly, the person saying it is like the coach at Wake, at Duke, at Syracuse.
I think next to having noon.
Syracuse.
I think next to having all the kicks with, at noon and having the 7-point spread for Duke, that's probably on the medal stand as well as things that make me angry, even though I'm taking this as
when
more
you're spoken about that way.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
if
Dino
Cutcliffe
Babers,
has to go, well, hey, listen, I know
gotta
they're
be
1 and
careful.
3.
I know it's a home game, but if we don't play our best game Saturday, Florida State could beat us.
Well,
if Dino Babers breaks out listen, we're traveling down to Tallahassee, and I'd like to pencil in a win as much as the next guy, but I've been looking at the film, and, Florida State's the kind of team that if you're not careful, maybe a couple of special teams mistakes, something along those lines, you could lose to Florida State.
They're very good in special teams.
Quarterback can throw it extreme distances. I really worry.
Big, strong, athletic, good ball skills.
We're at that time of the year towards the end of the season where we have our big rivalry games coming up, and, if you overlook that little road game down in Tallahassee, you could find your season derailed in a hurry. So we're going to have to play our best game Saturday. The film tells me that if we don't play well, Florida State could rise up and beat us.
This is soul-crushing because it's accurate. They could say that right now.
Syracuse cannot say that
Not
ever.
Syracuse, but, come on.
Duke can't say it as an underdog at home.
We're more talented, but the spreads aren't going to indicate how much more talented we are than
until you
Team
put a
X.
hurting on somebody. Like if Florida State beats Vegas will adjust quickly. If you turn around, Vegas knows, first of all, and this is true and people don't want to hear it, we're not nearly as bad as our record, and people know that. They keep waiting. Hey, listen, the Miami fans that sat in that stadium at halftime of the game on Saturday were like, of course they righted the ship. Of course they did. I just got done watching this sorry team. Now we're here. It's 3-0, and we have like a yard of offense at halftime. Okay, sure, thanks, Florida State. We're never going to end the losing streak. That's the way they thought in that game for a lot of it, I'm sure. But, you don't like to be tabbed that way, but the reality is if this team starts to play a lot better and play to their potential, you've heard it a million times already this year, then they'll beat Duke soundly. They're a problem for Louisville. They'll beat Boston College and Syracuse badly. They'll have their sea legs about them when they go on the road to Clemson. And then what'll happen is Clemson, who by rights should be expecting right about now that they're going to kill Florida State at home, are probably then at that point thinking, okay, now we've got a good thing. Don't screw this up.
When's the bowling tournament?
December.
Didn't we set a date
we
for it
did.
already?
You didn't mark it down because I'm disorganized.
Well,
December 13th.
It was a Wednesday, right? I think it was the 13th.
That sounds right. We may need to put it on the big board, Tom.
Yeah, maybe put it on
the big board.
Wednesday the 13th. That sounds about right.
Bold endeavors. We haven't done enough of these this year.
Yeah, we need to now.
We need to get off our ass.
Florida State by 10.
I'll give you a bold endeavor. Florida State wins by more than 2 scores.
Okay, so 17 plus.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably bold
Does
at
it
this point, is it
qualify
not?
as a bold endeavor?
Big board.
Okay.
Big board.
I think you can put it up there, man.
Big board.
I thought we'd beat Wake Forest soundly. I thought we'd beat NC State. What the hell do I know?
At least Front Row Knowles is embracing the switch to basketball. Terrence Mann's on the program. I'm looking at the rundown.
Terrence Mann, good player, man. That guy's a stat stuffer and a smart basketball player, and one of the reasons that we went undefeated at home last year at the TLC Double C. That's right. We didn't have to worry about the ding-ding. The choo-choo made an appearance last year, buddy, lest we forget.
Apparently.
Into the second round.
Casey Kasem's going to make an appearance on Front Row Knowles.
Is he? When does that happen? Do we know?
That happens in the first 10, 15 minutes of the show.
All right. Yeah.
So coming up in the next, 15, 20 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Good work out of you. Casey Kasem's dead, so that'll be interesting. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Those who called in or listened surely do appreciate it. You guys have a great night. Don't forget, stay tuned right now to the Front Row Knowles. Great show.